Great Monday morning, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. We are back with you for one more week of your midday hang in 2024. It's Annie and Elsten on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We are united in our studios. Odyssey Studios overlooking Murphy Canyon. Annie Halbrin is here. I'm Craig Elsten. Braden Suprenant alongside in a Natty Ducks sweater today as we roll with 4 hours of live local San Diego sports talk radio with you. Go until 2 o'clock when Gwen and Chris will take our seats. What's going on, Annie?
Good morning. Good morning, Craig and Braden and everyone listening. I can't believe it's almost 2025. It's crazy.
It really is. I mean, things go fast till you get to a sports week like this, and then we just see 20 miles of mud road ahead as we head toward the finish line. And then 2 weeks off and a chance for everyone to reset. And exciting sports things certainly will happen, like the college football playoff will get started this weekend, and NFL playoffs are right around the corner. For a baseball-driven show like ourselves, it was a weekend of silence. Pure quiet. You know, sometimes you need to appreciate the quiet, right? Just there it is.
It's nice. Probably is not going to go too crazy before the end of the year, although there will, AJ Preller's done it in the past. There's been holiday trades or holiday signings. Most teams don't. They kind of go a little dark once the holidays hit. But look, who knows? There's no rule about it. There's no rule that they have to not make any trades during this period. So, or any signings. So maybe we'll see something happen over the next few weeks.
I don't think so. Probably January 15th. I think that's our next. I think it's all quiet on the Western Front until Sasaki Day. And then either that's a day of joy.
Not for all the teams.
No, for us.
Just for the Padres.
Just for us. Mm-hmm. I mean, prove me wrong, AJ. Bring me in on the winter break. I'll be happy to do it. Kind of. But, yeah. Until then, I think we're all in on Sasaki, and then Sasaki Day will come, and it's a zero-sum game. We either get him or we don't get him, and then we can move on with the rest of the planning of the year.
Catchers are going off the board.
Yeah.
What are they going to do about catcher?
Not sign a guy to $5 million a year. That's pretty sure. Otherwise, we'd have Higashioka back. Carson Kelly to the Cubs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a catcher eventually. That'll be next year's show. What do we got for the last week of this year's show? Well, thank goodness we picked an NFL team. Most days that we had our beloved Lions update, it's just been, hey, Lions are good. Lions won again. Mm-hmm. Lions are awesome. Yesterday, Super Bowl preview, well, looked really good for the Buffalo Bills because Detroit, do they have anyone left on defense?
That was my thing. They are so banged up. They are so banged up. And the onside kick, I'm sure we'll get to it, was desperation for sure, personified, but kind of a reflection, too, of how banged up they are.
Yeah. I mean, when you're down 10 and there's 12 minutes to play and you call an onside kick, it's here's the thing. Everyone is filleting him for that, but it is a logical extension of the thinking that led you to go for it on 4th and short when you had the field goal and easy make range just the game prior, right? When they instead managed to push it to run out the clock by converting that 4th down. The idea is if our defense goes out there, we're going to lose. Yeah. So we just got to do the offensive side because the defensive side ain't going to do it for us. And, I don't agree, like everyone else in the universe, that you do it today when you can't surprise anybody. Now, when you didn't have to announce it, cool. Go for a surprise onside kick. That's pretty daring. But when you have to go, we're onside kicking.
I hate that rule. I hate it.
It's like, okay, obviously that's going to fail. So bummer on that one.
It makes you wonder about them going forward, though. Can they? Because I am fully I back Dan Campbell. If he's going, he's got a strategy. He's got an identity. He goes with it. I don't think he always has to take every risk he takes. But that's who he is, and that's gotten them to a good number of wins as well. I wonder in the playoffs how much he can sustain it with such a banged-up team. And
they just lost Montgomery today.
Oh, okay.
Running back
Yep.
David Montgomery's out indefinitely after suffering a sprained MCL.
Yikes.
So he's out.
Knuckles down.
Aleem McNeil suffered a torn ACL. He's a D tackle. Starting cornerback Carlton Davis III was out. Khalil Dorsey has been out. Aiden Hutchinson is out. I mean, like you mentioned, most of the defense is gone, and then you just lost David Montgomery.
Wow.
I mean, but that's what makes the NFL and football so difficult. That's why, another reason for the college football playoff to really determine a winner is going through a gauntlet of having to play good teams. When you play good teams and you're a good team, guys go down, and it's a gladiator sport, and the team that's got the last man standing is usually the team that wins the championship at the end of the year. So it's going to be tough for the Lions here in the last couple of weeks, and then in the playoffs if they have just enough just to make it through the season.
Pat Mahomes was limping off the field yesterday.
Yeah, what if he's hurt?
Yeah, he got tweaked.
I mean, is it Bills Eagles at the end? Is it just Bills Eagles? Like you say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Lions have been a great team, Chiefs have been a great team, but I look at the Bills and the Eagles as the two best teams right now, almost like pretty clearly the two best teams in the NFL. Eagles won 10 in a row. Right?
I'm not really sold on the Eagles. I think they're all right.
Baker Mayfield had a good day.
The Bucks played really well. Talk about
for
a team
defense for the Chargers that's been vaunted to this point.
Talk about a team that has injuries. I mean, they lost like half the receivers for like the middle portion of the year.
Tampa did, yeah.
If they had Chris Godwin on this team right now, they'd probably be in the top echelon of teams in the NFC. And the NFC is very bad. The NFC is very bad. The AFC is more cut and dry. You only got, I think three teams are still hanging on in the playoff race. Out of the 7 that are already, that are currently in a spot. The NFC, everybody's like relatively still alive, just because the records over there in the NFC are just not very good. In the AFC, it's pretty cut and dry. But a little bit of shakeup there yesterday with the Chargers losing, the Broncos winning. I mean, the Broncos could really help solidify a spot on Thursday by knocking out the Chargers.
Yeah.
Even the silly Bengals aren't dead, right? I mean,
they need some
help.
work, but yeah, they needed going into the weekend, they needed the Broncos to lose 3 of 4, the Colts to lose 3 of 4, and then the Dolphins to lose 2 of 4, and then they had to go 4-0. But with the Broncos passing that was not including the Chargers. The reason why they didn't include the Chargers is the Chargers had the tiebreaker over the Bengals. Now that the Broncos have passed the Chargers, you got to finish one game better than LA if you're Cincinnati. So there's still a couple of things in there. I think if the Chargers lose 2 of the next 3 and the Bengals win out, as well as the Colts having to lose a couple, but the Colts' schedule to finish out the season is just ridiculously easy. But they look bad on Sunday against the Broncos. I mean, Jonathan Taylor cost me some fantasy points dropping the ball as he's going through the end zone. I couldn't believe that.
That was amazing.
And it looked like
You have one job,
from
man.
3 angles, it looked like he was good. And it's like, why are we reviewing these plays? It's like so ticky-tack. It's like so ticky-tack, but whatever. Got to hang on to the rock all the way through. But they didn't look very good in that game, and it's just there's so much parity in the NFL. I mean, you see so many teams that maybe struggled at the beginning of the year starting to turn it on. I mean, the Rams are in first place right now. The Rams are in first place.
Speak it out loud. Say it with your chest for the back row.
It's so true.
Rams are in first
November,
place.
December is the witching hours for the NFL and the injuries. Like who's going down?
Yeah.
I mean, the Rams win on Thursday in a schloss ball game with a bunch of field goals, and then Seattle got worked by Green Bay last night. Green Bay was they were bullying Seattle in the trenches their first 2 drives. It didn't even look like Seattle. It looked like they were going on air. Or they're going on red bags. I mean, it looked like Seattle wasn't even there on defense.
Ugly night.
Green Bay looked really good last night. I mean, I would argue that the 3 best teams in the NFC all come from the NFC North, with the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers. Oh my!
Not
the Bears.
I think you're overlooking the Eagles.
I always say Bears in my head when you
I
do
think
that.
you're overlooking that team that's won 10 in a row.
I mean, I could pull up their schedule, and it's just it's a lot of
I think the
bad
Eagles are
teams.
good.
They just beat the Steelers.
I don't think the Steelers are very good either.
The 10-4 Steelers?
I think the Steelers are very much a fake good team.
Okay, you might be right, but
I don't think the Steelers are very good.
I'm fully caught up in the Hard Knocks hype right now. So
You're in Hard Knocks mode.
And Tomlin pulling them through.
Tomlin is just so good. So I'm like, hey, that's pretty good.
I'm not
You go
down
in there
on
and
the Steelers.
you clown them like that. You beat them and shut them down like that. You have to be a good team to do that because that's a good team over there.
Yeah.
I now believe after having watched
I'm
them
not dead
on
on
TV.
the Eagles or the Steelers.
I don't think the Eagles are bad. I just don't think they're the clear-cut second best team in the NFL.
well,
I think they're
I'll
one of
take
the
'em.
better teams, but I wouldn't say they haven't looked as impressive as they've had in the past.
I would love to see Detroit overcome, but they need like the MASH unit to get cracking here. Let's get some guys healthy. Let's get some guys through the door.
Can you how it's such a big part of the NFL? You're dominant all season long, and then you lose a lot of guys or your biggest playmakers, and that's it. You're one and done in the playoffs. So it's tough. It's a tough go.
Just want to remind you all that it was 4 weeks ago in one of Braden's NFL segments that I said that the Bucs were going to beat the Chargers at SoFi Stadium.
That's right. Well, you also said
It was a month ago. You were like, hey, pick this game a month ago. And I'm like, well, the Bucs have got to get hot because they're going to come into
Yes, we need them to win.
LA
I like
and
it
beat
for the
Chargers.
Bucs if they can, carry on with it.
Yeah, well, they're one of them tier 2 teams, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the NFL has 4 teams or thereabouts. And sure, upsets any given Sunday, all that other stuff, I get it. But I think there's like 4 teams, maybe 5, that can win the title. And then there's this whole group of tier 2 teams that are, good enough to win some games. Chargers are a team like that. Tampa is a team like that. I think Minnesota is a team like that.
Yeah.
They're good enough to win some games.
Houston, Denver, Washington.
Absolutely.
Basically,
all these
Surprised about
guys.
everybody's
Houston.
got
I thought
9
Houston would
wins.
have been better.
Yeah.
I thought they'd be better too. I mean, they're 9-5. I mean, they're right
Not
there,
terrible,
right there,
right.
right behind the Steelers at 10-4. But they've played okay.
Yeah. And their whole goal is to beat another tier 2 team in the playoff and have that win. Like, hey, we got to win.
Yeah, when
You
those
know,
tier 1 teams start losing players, then all of a sudden it opens up the door for a
Then
lot
it
of these
opens.
tier 2 teams.
It does. It opens the door, and maybe the Lions are going to be that open door, and maybe they'll be a team that loses in the second round at home, or the first round because they don't get a bye. I mean, we'll find out when it all shakes out in a couple of weeks. But I just right now, our beloved Lions, little shaky ground.
Yes.
Little shaky ground right now.
They need the infirmary stat.
We were very close to Aaron Rodgers retiring on the spot because they almost lost to the Jags last night. That was close. I was hoping just to see what the press conference would be like.
Please.
It's going to happen on the Pat McAfee show.
And Devontae Adams
if he retires.
decided to save Aaron Rodgers' career yesterday.
Yeah, well,
The performance that he put together. In the
tune in
second
tomorrow
half.
and find out. It'll be on Behind Annie on the. No, it won't. We've made a new rule, right?
No Pat
I
McAfee
don't
show.
put it on in here, but
No Pat McAfee show in the studio.
it's just crazy. Like I tend to, I want to put on MLB Network. Hey, let's see, maybe some trades come through. Maybe they're dissecting what happened over the last week. But at 10 a.m., MLB Network just goes to old programming.
I was just going to say, what is it today? Like a Kirby
It's
Puckett
like
documentary?
it's like
or...
Tales Back in Time. A hit from 1979. No, the documentaries are really good, but
Yeah.
Not every single part of the day.
right. So,
Well, here's what
Anyways.
we got going on for you as the show unfolds. It won't all just be kibitzing over the stuff in the sports page today. We've got some more of that we can hash out. We've got our weekends that was. We got what's good coming up. I've hesitating. I think I'll just wait till 12 in the Sports Fix to tell the story of Saturday night at Front Wave Arena, because I think it was like one of the worst examples of replay ruining sports
Oh no.
Oh,
that
no.
I've ever seen, like in my life, like one of the worst examples. Like, oh, nope, never mind. So we'll get into that as the show goes on. I've got stories. Braden's football segment coming up. So it's the last week of the show for 2024. As we said, we'll be back roaring on January 6th. So all's quiet on the Padre front. We're going to knock out a little bit of best of Padres all week long. Get some highlights, get through the games, and then be done with it. Because I don't think in the third week of January we want to be going back to games from August of last year.
Nope.
That is a no. Once it hits 2025, I feel like
Yes.
we can
Only forward.
look forward, right?
Yes.
So
I don't want any October baseball games in January.
Yes.
that's what I'm saying too. We're all of like mind. I'm glad to hear it. So as such, best of Padres, like a Roman candle. It'll fire up often and then end. Over the course of this week. It'll just done. And we'll fire it out of those highlights. And that's a great way to go in. There's, it's like 12 Days of Christmas kind of thing. We're just pulling out highlights every day out of the stocking. And we'll do that each of the next 5 days. So that's coming up at 11 o'clock. A real circle the wagons moment for the Padres is today's subject of Best of Padres 2024. The spot where it did turn around, where you can actually put a pin in it and go, that's where the season turned around. It was that morning in that place. We'll talk about that story later on. We'll have Braden's football segment in the next hour with overreactions from the weekend that was. Is UCSD going to go to the NCAA tournament?
Ooh.
Let's just keep saying it into the world and manifest. We'll get you updated on college basketball as well. 12 o'clock Sports Fix, of course. All the news from the weekend that was. It's NBA trade season. We've got 5 more silly games this week in order to try and qualify someone for a 2-night stay at Westgate, Las Vegas, and 2 tickets to the sports book during that time in March when the tournament's going. So we'll be playing Anybody Knows today for that. And we'll enjoy that coming up at 12:40. Plenty to come between here and 2 o'clock. Let's take our first time out and come back with Andy and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:22 on the Fan. Welcome back, everybody. It's Annie and Elsten with you. Annie Halbrin there, Craig Elsten here, Braden Soprano right on over there. See my new shirt? Just got this last night.
I was just going to say.
I believe in miracles.
Is this a
Miracles.
Padres? First of all, I love it. Love the Merrill Christmas. Everybody have a Merrill Christmas.
Got some bats on there. And
I
stuff.
believe in miracles.
Is this a Padres special that I didn't know?
Nope. It's one of those lovely entrepreneurs
Okay.
that are out there.
I get it. Yeah.
We had, I'll talk about it more in what's good, but we had a Padres hot tub holiday party. Holiday party. I don't know if it's really a holiday party. One of our patrons, one of our great patrons, runs trivia. He runs trivia at Stone Brewing in Little Italy. Mm-hmm. And that's like one of his side gigs, right? Is that he does, and he's moving, he's leaving, he's going to Cincinnati in a couple of months. So he decided to do a Padres trivia night. And we kind of turned that into let's get all, have all the patrons come out. And we had a get together last night. And this guy showed up and set up a little cart with all of his various original design
cool.
Padre t-shirts.
Yes.
So, you know me. Of course, I bought 3 different T-shirts, and you'll see them over the. A couple of them I think will be wrapped up as gifts to myself.
I was going to say Merry Christmas to yourself, right?
Yeah. This is a thing.
But that's a good one. I mean, listen.
Yeah. But I said, this one I got to wear tomorrow on the air. So I believe in miracles is what we got. And if you want to know about it, I'll let you know about this guy. Good guy. Different. He's the same guy who does "Show Me Your Tatis."
I see that one quite a bit.
Yeah, that's
great.
Yes, yeah.
That's his number one selling T-shirt. Is "Show Me Your Tatis."
I can imagine.
So, with that, we are believing in miracles. We'll have some Merrill sound as the morning goes along.
When you bring in a shirt, does a shirt have to leave? Like,
Are you on that
rule?
So here's what I'm doing right now. I pared down all my regular, I've got too many Padres T-shirts, obviously. So for the winter, I took one of my big backpacks and I put away most of them, except for a tighter rotation of maybe 6 to 8 Padres shirts. So they'll go into the backpack until we get into Padres season. And then the full Padre, and then the soccer shirts, the soccer shirts go into a backpack, or we're out of space.
You got a system.
We're out of space in our house. Long story short, there's no shelf space. So yes, if one comes in and one doesn't go out, something is going to start groaning and creaking under the increased weight. Speaking of which, I don't know what y'all did on the weekend. I know none of us could go to the holiday party. I heard it was great. Shout out to our Odyssey mates. On the Elsten side, why we couldn't go is that we had already had a family thing, class thing, 8th grade class thing to go visit Starlight Circle.
Yeah.
Have you guys done that recently?
Not in a while. I've done it in my life, yes, but it's been at least a few years for me.
I feel like one time many years ago I drove around it.
This is in Santee.
Santee, right by it's a neighborhood right next to Santana High School.
Yeah, I've done it before.
So I kind of think it's been long enough that I didn't realize what it actually was. I kind of knew, but then it didn't sink into me that this neighborhood has to have Kris Kringle as their HOA.
Well, there's a line, too. Last time I went, there was a line out onto the streets, or people were parking far away and walking over.
No, the Santana High School parking lot is basically full.
I do wonder when you buy a house there because if you're going to buy a house in San Diego, I don't think you should have to do anything. But I guess if you buy a house in that circle, you have to.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's it's funny you brought that up.
You're paying so much already. I don't want to be the Grinch. I'm not saying I'd be the Grinch. We'd put up lights, I'm sure. But, can you force someone to do that?
Well, as we talked about before, our friend that happens to work across the street, Cabana Boy Jeff.
Yes.
He lives on that Meritage.
In Starlight Circle?
In Stonebridge, up in
okay.
It's Scripps Ranch, Poway, whatever.
Yeah.
The guy that started that street, his name is Jared. Jared's a family friend of ours. Jared and his wife, Amanda, have moved to Nashville. And so in doing so, it's funny, my sister, who lives in Nashville, went to their holiday party where he basically invited all the neighbors in to meet him for the first time and was trying to get them to all do the whole street thing like he used to do in San Diego, and his house is tricked out. Some somebody younger than me bought his house, made it big with a startup company or something like that. And he has taken over the house, and apparently all the neighbors have sent pictures of his house on Meritage to Jared, and it has 3 strings of lights in the window. And so the guy, and I'm telling you, Jared is I
love it.
He is Clark Griswold.
Yeah.
He is Clark Griswold. He would tell people on that street, look, I will buy the lights and hang them for you. You have to have this on your house. I will do it for you.
Yeah.
Just all you got to do is flip the power on.
Yeah.
And so he did that for a lot of the neighbors that didn't really want to do it. And now it's funny, the guy that started that whole street that people drive from all over San Diego to go see in Poway to see all the different themes of the houses. The guy that started it, his house has nothing on it now. Now he has the fuddy-duddy house.
Oh, I love that. But yes, Annie, without knowing for sure, I know for sure there's a homeowners association in that neighborhood. And if it's not a true, business type HOA, it is some type of organization that people have signed on to.
You almost have to, because it's one of those streets where you go in and they have you kind of go in a circle, and come out. And I mean, if you have to know, I guess, hey, that's going to be through the whole month of December, packed with people. Don't expect to go in and out. Don't expect to run to Trader Joe's. Don't expect to have people over. You are part of something now that is, you can't make quick moves out of.
Okay. Thank you. Because like I said, it had been a long time. I knew what it was, but it didn't sink in.
Did you ever go to Candy Cane Lane in El Cajon?
I think yes.
Okay.
We've
My
driven
grandmother's
through it.
taken me there.
Yeah,
a handful
same
of
thing.
times.
Driven through it.
Okay.
But when we turned, we all parked at Santana. We got the whole 8th grade group together,
Good
and
idea.
all the parents, and everyone's going, and literally, it's like a theme park. There's a crowd coming down the
There's,
street,
hot
and a
chocolate.
crowd coming up the street.
Yeah.
And then you're just going up the darkened street of Magnolia, and then you turn in. Right. And there's, of course, this line of cars, and you're walking by the line of cars. And then you turn on in to Starlight Circle, and now you are in Christmas theme park, right? Presented by Amazon. I mean, it's so many
That's the
different
thing.
lights
It's
and
not
things.
just lights. It's the little, it's the statues. It's
Right.
the
Knickknacks, the
right. It's
inflatable Clark
they make
Griswold
things.
RV.
Right. Exactly.
And your neighborhood is you just know that for a month, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, your neighborhood is overrun. Yeah. It's completely overrun. Not most, but several of the houses are operating a kettle corn stand, a hot cocoa stand, this stand, a merchandise stand, another stand. It's
You got to pay off the electric bill, man.
Yeah,
seriously.
No, you have a big electric bill.
Exactly. You got to pay it all off, right? And so I'm just looking at this and listen, as you know, we decorated the house. I'm happy with what we have. Yeah. This gave me heart palpitations, just walking down the street. And one of the things that triggered me was seeing this Amazon dude running the other way down the street, because he probably had to park his giant, thingmobile all the way outside the circle.
If I was Amazon at that point, I feel like there should be a rule there where it's those just go in some locker that they have to go pick up. The residents have to go pick up at some point.
Because that dude is thinking about hey, my ratio of drop-offs to time is getting ruined here because it's going to take me 25 minutes to dig into this neighborhood.
He should just be able to put that in the parcel locker and be sorry, pick that up yourself.
Boy, you're not kidding.
It's wild. And if you can't DoorDash, you can't Uber Eats. I mean, if you did, it would just be mean to those people.
It's cruelty,
right?
A lot of those people will put cones out in front of their house, so you can't park in front of their house. Just keep moving.
Yeah,
you know, or they'll save the spots for their own sake. Jared used to invite us over for he'd have a little mini fire pit outside, and they just sit outside and sit by the fire, let people drive through and
Right.
look at the lights and stuff. It kind of makes it like a social thing. But you could really only do that on the weekends. I mean, doing that every day for like 3 weeks would be
Right.
rough.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, yeah, okay, it's only quote unquote open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're not telling me there's a line of cars and a bunch of people walking every single day, because there is
Yeah, you don't
every
have to-
single day.
You don't have to turn on your lights every single day.
You don't, but you kind of do, because everyone around you is. You know what's the one house in Starlight Circle that wasn't lit up? The one that had the for sale sign out front. That was the one.
That was.
They're
Somebody
like-
probably
I'm
moved
surprised
out
it didn't.
in November.
I'm surprised that
Out of here.
the other homeowners didn't be like, wow, we got to put lights on over there.
That's what Jared would have done. He would have hung lights
Yeah.
on the house. That was
Tyler in the
vacant.
chat says, I have family friends that live on Christmas Card Lane.
Yeah.
Where's that? Rancho?
That's in
Pennsylvania.
PQ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Said they didn't even know about it until a week before finalizing the purchase of the house, and the old owners left their old decor. I mean, that's actually kind of cool if they leave their stuff, I guess. But you still got to pay the electrical bill, and you still
Yeah.
got to deal with the crowds and understand what you're getting into.
Yeah.
If they left the gear, it's fine. It's like, what are they going to need that for, right? Wherever they're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, please. I'm going to Cincinnati, and this is staying
That's
right here.
Until you move into another neighborhood, it's got the same thing.
It just kind of cracks me up because of housing in San Diego. It's already so hard to get in. You're paying astronomical prices. The market is such that if you find a place you really want it, if it works for your family, and so I could see people that are kind of desperate, like, man, we don't really want to do this, but we found our dream house, and so I guess we're part of Starlight Circle now.
Yeah, yeah, it would just be the worst. This is the only house we found that fits in our school district.
Right.
That is exactly right. It's the right driving distance. Oh, here's the downside.
It's
You
candy card
Yeah,
lane.
you get to
Christmas
run a
card lane.
theme park for a month in December.
You know what?
You didn't know, but you're in the middle of Disneyland
And
now.
you're sitting there going, is renting really that bad?
Right, exactly.
Well, there's my Starlight Circle story.
So you
I
guys
was-
walk through it.
we walked
Yeah, that's a
through
good
it.
idea.
That's
We
better.
walked
Yeah.
It's better to walk through it. The
I agree.
drive-through is not. It's for like little kids that you can't corral.
Exactly. Yeah,
But when
the
you're
walk
old
is
enough,
good.
you're old enough now. You get the 8th graders. You can walk through, get some hot chocolate. And,
Yeah, they get in kettle corn. Everyone's got their kettle corn
Yeah.
and they're running along and.
It's like easier to see stuff if you're walking, I think, versus
Correct.
yeah, you can spot
Sure,
out,
drive
spot out
through it.
everything.
But I mean,
Yeah.
let's be real. I've seen the elf blow up
I know.
from Amazon before.
That's
You
kind
know?
of what I thought about it is, it's lights in a lane, and but for kids, it's probably a blast.
Jeff does like a Disney
I
one.
went on a date
He
actually
does.
there.
Wow. Jeff,
I thought that I should just be the one staring out the window, be like, ooh, ah.
Jeff does Disney themed, and he has like 7 hidden Mickeys throughout his thing. So
That's
it gives you like
cool.
something to do.
Yeah.
Like at the deal, it's like, oh, let's find all the Mickeys all over the place.
See,
So,
that is really cool.
little different. Make it a little fun game or something like that.
No, it's wonderful, and some people love it. And
And it's beautiful. I think you should
Yes.
definitely, if you can go. It's free.
Yeah.
Go get some hot chocolate or buy it there, whatever,
Yeah.
and go through. It's a great way to spend your night. Charisma in the chat says she takes offense when she sees houses not decorated on Christmas Card Lane.
Yeah. Why do you live there?
I can understand it. I
You
can,
gotta
I
at
can
least-
understand it both ways.
You
I
have to
guess.
at least put in some effort.
just put up the 3
Some
strands
effort.
of
If
lights.
you have nothing up, then you're really sending a message to everybody else. I'm
Yeah.
not about this. Put something up.
I couldn't agree more. But I just said, as a homeowner, just walking into that
Right.
neighborhood, I was just like, oh my
It's
God.
like your nightmare.
You couldn't give me the house. I mean, maybe you could. It's tough housing market, but it'd be pretty hard to tell me an amazing deal to move into Starlight
You
Circle.
could give me the house, but I might like Airbnb for the month of December. And just
Yes!
put lights up or something, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, by the way, a little tough on the ingress egress there. Month of December. We'll do a $50 off.
It's wild.
All right, let's take a time out. It's 10:36. When we come back, What's Good, where each of us bring you and regale even more stories from the weekend. And I've got something new for the studio. I hope
don't
everyone
see it.
likes it. Well, no, it's hidden in the
It's a
backpack.
surprise.
Yeah, I hope everyone likes it because I won it last night.
Ah.
And
Did you pick up Dexter on your team?
no, I wish he was there. We would have won for sure. We should have won, but I still won something. So we'll bring you that and more. Their story, everything from Annie and Braden as well as we roll through the first hour of Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 1042 on the Fan. Great to be with you for the final week of our first year as a show. Annie and Elsten here with you on the Fan, reminding you that baseball coverage on our station is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com, get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. All right. It's one of our first segments that we developed for the show. It's a Monday. It's the third segment of the first hour. Wasn't a whole lot going on in the world of sports this weekend. Sometimes there's so much going on in the world of sports. Like last week, Monday at the winter meetings, we didn't even do a What's Good.
Yeah.
Because it was just like barreling through this, right? Well, hey, guess what? We got time for What's Good. Here we go with the weekend. Doesn't have to be personal, could be whatever, but from our own personal perspectives, what's good, Annie?
I'm going to steal some of Braden's thunder here and go with the Lincoln Hornets.
Hey.
There you go.
They beat Pittsburgh 28-26 at Saddleback College. They won the state championship, second state title in the last 3 years for the Hornets. They played every home game on the road this year because their football field had water damage. So a good call congratulations to the Lincoln Hornets.
If it had been close, I would have wanted to go to that. Driving up to Saddleback on a Friday night at 8 o'clock wasn't going to happen for me. We had Starlight Circle, but nonetheless, that sounded like a really exciting game. And the Hornets played from out front the whole time, but they were still challenged the whole time. Yeah. Great game.
Good program. They have a good program.
Don't tell Braden.
No,
they do.
Yeah.
They're one of the best. They're us and Lincoln and some of the teams in North County have notoriously the best programs in San Diego year in and year out.
Are you surprised at Lincoln taking it, or that's
no,
kind
I'm
of what
not.
you expected?
I said whoever won our game was going to win.
Yeah.
Depending on what Folsom did, and then Folsom lost to Pittsburgh, which I thought really opened the door for a San Diego team to win. Lincoln's a better. Lincoln was Pittsburgh's a way better matchup for Lincoln than Folsom was.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh was able to beat Folsom, and then Lincoln just had way better players than Pittsburgh did, and were able to get the win by 2. We were able to hold them off there at the end with a 2-point conversion as Pittsburgh was chasing points after a missed point after attempt.
They have some big players.
They do.
Man-boy players.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's, the teams that make the Open have all of them.
Yes.
And then the teams that don't make the Open don't have any of them. That's how this works.
All the way back in September when I saw Lincoln up at Veterans Stadium in Long Beach. Remember what I said? I looked at our kids, and I looked at them. I'm like, wait a second.
Luck.
Those guys are way bigger.
Big versus little. I know what happens when big plays little. It's pretty rough.
Right.
Pretty rough. Good stuff, and congrats to the Hornets. What's good, Braden?
On Friday, my mom on Fridays usually does something with her mom, who is in her 90s now.
Oh,
she goes
cool.
Fridays with Dolly. And so they go do a bunch of things.
awesome.
So I got home on Friday before I went out, and my 90-year-old grandmother and my mom were making Christmas cookies. So I got to spend some time with them making cookies. So that was pretty cool to hang out with my 92-year-old grandmother. I saw her a couple of weeks before. She says I haven't seen her in years, but that's how she is all the time. So
Fridays with Dolly.
Fridays with Dolly
Love that.
is what my mom documents on her Instagram account. It's pretty fun. She takes Dolly all over San Diego.
That's great.
To places that she has been multiple times in the last couple of weeks, in which she says I haven't been here in 15 years. The best is when they take her down to Little Italy, where she used to live. As a kid growing up, because all the Italians lived in Little Italy.
Yeah.
That's why it was called Little Italy. And she was like, I haven't been here in so long. It's so different. Now you're here like 2 weeks ago. It's the same. It's the same as it's been. So it's kind of cool
too.
for her to take her to a lot of different places that she used to live and stuff like that throughout San Diego. And, she loves going down to Little Italy in particular because that's where she grew up as a kid with her sister. So it's good to see to hang out with the grandmother on Friday.
That's awesome.
That's some great stuff, guys. Good stuff. My What's Good, I mentioned it a little bit earlier at the beginning of the show, but had the opportunity yesterday afternoon to go hang out with some of our great patrons of Padres Hot Tub at Stone Brewing in Little Italy. Fun evening. Got to meet our man. Hang on, they put his name in the chat a minute ago. That Marctic Creations. Marctic Creations, told you, little that had the T-shirts. Good stuff. Stone Brewing, Little Italy, great place. And our guy Monty, the trivia master who's moving to Cincinnati, had a big blowout Padres trivia game. And to be honest, I think it's the first time I've ever played a pub trivia game, which seems weird because
You're a trivia
it's
guy.
obviously right down my alley.
Yes.
And I feel like I would be an asset to many a trivia team in San Diego County were I to be so lucky to grace their table.
As much of an asset as Dexter?
No, but I mean, Dexter's pretty unique. He's one of those guys who knows it all.
No, I think you would hold it. Okay, I think you'd do great at trivia.
I think I would do great
Right.
at trivia too.
You'd hold your own.
And
Speak, Annie.
in this Padres trivia
I
game,
guess.
we pretty much won. My team was in first place going to the last question, and then they did a Final Jeopardy type thing on the last question where you could gamble like almost half the points that you had earned.
Oh, real high roller there.
Yeah, well, we had a slight disagreement on the final answer, and
What was the question and the answer?
the question was, there are 3 players in the history of the San Diego Padres who have finished in the top 10 in MVP voting in back-to-back seasons, who in back-to-back years got top 10 MVP votes. And those 3 players each played the game of baseball at least 15 years apart in Padres history. So they each come from different eras of Padres history. And the question was, name 2 of the 3.
Tony Gwynn.
Incorrect.
No.
Incorrect.
What about Adrian Gonzalez?
The answers were the modern answer, which we got,
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis Jr. He finished in the top 10
he
in
did?
both 2020 and 2021. Mm-hmm. Think about Machado. He's always kind of been every other year,
Okay.
like 20 and then 22 and then 24. And my partner in our team had picked the other side of it as Ken Caminetti.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept kind of bumping against it because I'm like, Ken Caminetti was unanimous MVP in 1996.
Right.
But the year before that, he was with Houston. And the year after, I didn't think he had that great a year. And so we were, we have 2 minutes, right? And so like we're sitting there, we're like, Tatis for sure.
And you can't look on your phone.
And no, you can't cheat. Can't cheat. And typed in Caminetti. And then I was
Kidding
thinking,
me, Annie?
yeah. And
You
then
can't look it up on your phone. What's the point of playing the game?
there's no game.
mean,
yeah, if you just look it up on your phone, there's no
Come on.
game.
Is anybody really checking?
It's
Go
just
ahead.
Google.
Foul.
Draws the foul.
That's absolutely right. So the right answer did come to me. Like in the past, I was struggling because I thought, did Nate Colbert ever get MVP votes? I'm not sure. Did Dave Winfield finish top 10 in MVP in consecutive years? Maybe, but I don't feel like he did. I feel like his best he had an all-star year, but I don't know if he had 2.
Crime Dog.
And that's the name I came up with too, Braden. I said, what about Fred McGriff? He had 2 really good years in 92 and 93. And I brought it up, but what got punched in was Caminetti Tatis. And my buddy actually bet the whole yard.
Oh,
wow.
no.
Pushed all his chips in?
He did. And so
Wow.
we went from first place to third place on the last one. It was a bummer.
Ouch.
And it was McGriff. McGriff was the third guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So and the first guy, which I should have thought of, was Randy Jones. Randy Jones won the Cy Young in 1976, but he was incredible in 1975 and pitched like 275 innings. So back in those days, pitchers got MVP votes a lot more often. And it's one of those things you don't think about, like pitchers
So
getting
it's
MVP
just-
votes.
You could be in the top 10 of voting. It just had to be back-to-back years.
Back-to-back
Because there are
years.
quite a few Padres players that make the top 10, even if
Right.
the team doesn't do that well.
Yeah. Like I think Jackson Merrill finished top 10
Yes,
in
yeah.
MVP this year. But if he does it next year, he'd be an answer to this trivia question, right? So the thing was, Monty, as I mentioned, is moving to Cincinnati. He had kind of an apartment full of random memorabilia that he was not going to take with him to Cincinnati. So he had this whole thing like, you win, your team comes up, you each get to pick something out of the bin, so to speak. So I had 7th pick out of the bin, but I was very happy because what I got was the thing that when I got there, I was like, I want that.
Okay.
if I had finished in first place and had won in the draft, I would have picked the same thing.
Oh, this is good
Nice.
news for you. Yeah.
Because as soon as I saw it, I said, this has a home. And its home is the 97.3 The Fan studio. Because for years, this studio has carried the dark cloud of a Dave Roberts, Ben Higgins embrace poster that thankfully I replaced with Alex Morgan recently. But it had been back there, and it would just drive me nuts every once in a while that we're talking. Then in the corner, you see Dave Roberts going over there, right? So let me show you what I won.
Oh,
How about
Is that Bud Black?
that's a Bud Black,
Buddy Black.
Bud Black is
autograph-
welcome in our studio.
a
That's
Bud
right.
Black
Yes.
autographed framed picture. What did he write?
Oh, this is great.
He wrote, "Always bet on black."
That's awesome.
It's Bud Black, always bet on black. And I'm like, yes.
That's perfect.
And now we have this.
and it's framed.
And
And
it's
it's
framed.
framed.
And it's going to get hung up here.
Always bet on black.
Always bet on
I
black
actually
with
very
Buddy
much
Black.
like that.
That's awesome.
Right? Look, he's got the lovely smile.
Yeah.
He's got Buddy's
He's
classic
got that
smile.
smile that goes, "That's baseball."
Yeah, he's got the That's Baseball smile.
Always bet on black.
Always bet on black.
If I was Bud Black, I would write that every time too.
Right?
I mean, that's hilarious. That's what you should be
Absolutely.
writing.
Always bet on black. So I was extremely happy to bring this home. I
That's
texted
great
them. I
stuff.
said, I
He looks the
won a
same
great
as
prize.
that. That
he
was
really
He
does.
100 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably a 15-year-old
Yeah.
picture. Always bet on black.
Still a San Diegan,
Yes.
Bud Black.
Still turning up at stuff.
Right. Still making his moves around San Diego in the off season.
Very, very happy for that. Well, I always thought of Bud fondly.
It's nice of you to think of the studio
Yeah.
for the prize.
Well, I mean, what am I going to do? Hanging at home? Are you kidding me?
Yes, I don't know.
Bet you'd be like one photo in, one photo out.
That's right.
You hang it next to like your family
Wedding photo or
photos.
something. Wait a
Here's
minute.
James's baby pictures. Here's
there's
Buddy
Bud
Black.
Baby picture out, Buddy Black picture in. Wait a
In.
minute.
Always bet on black.
That's right.
You don't say always bet on James. You
That's
say always
right.
bet on black.
Exactly.
So yes, now to grace the studio, to bless the studio. Maybe this year we won't lose to the Rockies 8-5. You know.
That's the kind of smile he had on his face after the Rockies swept the Padres.
That's right.
Austin Gomber gave him that smile
He said, "Always bet on
3
black."
different times.
Tim looking at Dinger from afar,
Yeah.
thinking if he could ever be in that dugout one day.
Look at that dinger. I like the cut of his jib. Hour number 1 is down. When we come back, we've got a week of Best of Padres. The moment that turned the season around. Pinpoint it. We'll bring it to you after this. 11 a.m. on the Fan. Hour number 2 of Annie and Elsten here with you. Your Monday get-together rolling on. We come your way on 97.3 FM radio. Shout out to everyone in their car listening to us. We come to you on the Odyssey app, streaming worldwide, free to use, free to download, free to operate. AUDACY. Everybody listening internationally on the app, we say hello to you. If you'd like to send us a quick voice message, you can right there on the app. Right next to Listen Live, there's a button, voice message. If you drop us a voice message, we'll play it on Ask Us Anything later in the show.
I see Buddy found a home.
Buddy did find a home. Can we see if we can put that up? There he is.
There we go.
There's Buddy.
There he is.
Right there. Might have been a little technical difficulties getting it posted.
It's a little different than before the break.
There may be a little less glare on that. The glass may
It's
be
making
gone.
me question always bet on black.
It's,
Well,
Maybe you should bet on red every once in a while.
no protection for Buddy is all.
yeah, well, Buddy doesn't need it. So yeah, we got Buddy. Buddy has now found his home. Easy. Buddy has found his home behind us, and we are off and running with hour number 2 of the program. 12 o'clock Sports Fix coming your way about an hour from now. But as we mentioned, we have had a recurring segment called Best of Padres, and all of us realized at the same time that Best of Padres 2024 has no home in 2025.
No, it doesn't.
It cannot. It's too much.
Needs to be put to bed.
Needs to be put to bed. Absolutely.
Because 2025 is going to hit, and we are just eyes forward, full steam ahead.
Eyes up. Keep
This
climbing.
way.
Mm-hmm.
This way.
What's happening in 2025? Not
That's right.
what happened.
Only one
I've already,
direction.
flushed, I've already flushed all my bad sports memories from the year.
Right.
We're focused on a good Padres season.
Moving
We're focused
forward.
on TCU competing for a Big 12 championship. We're focused on
Wow.
a lot of other things.
You're asking
Jeez.
Santa for a lot there.
Yeah, you are.
I said 2025. It's got a lot of time.
So, with that, it means it's going to be a blowout sale of Best of Padres 2024. We got to get out. We got to get all the old highlights off the shelf so we can bring in the new 2025.
That's right.
This is like the cul-de-sac sale. This is
Exactly.
like
Insane deals on highlights. You want to hear one game? How about 2?
Spirit Hollywood. Spirits.
we're getting all our stock out.
That's right. The Spirit Store after Halloween sale.
That is correct. So instead of doing an hour, we're not going to do a whole hour. We're going to do a segment each day for the next 5 days. And in doing that, we're going to get through the regular season highlights of a brilliant season. Every time we've done this, we've always left with a smile on our face. So
You know what would be great is if we could get the players and Jesse and Tony to reenact it.
that'd be fun.
Like,
yeah,
you know when
there
you
you go.
reenact like Christmas scenes?
Yeah.
We could have them reenact certain moments.
Like just out here in the...
On the sound, or outside,
Yeah.
outside or on the
Outside in
sound
the
stage.
Well,
Stage square.
you should have
Yeah.
done that when you had your reviews with the players before they left.
Hey, by the way, real quick, we need you to go outside and reenact.
That's right.
We need you to reenact Game 78, Wednesday, June 19th.
That'd have been an eye roll and a walk away.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you guys remember also why June 19th matters before I even get into the game?
It was the
Well,
first day
before I
of
say
summer.
anything else, it's my mom's birthday, so
Absolutely.
we make sure.
Are
that's
they
a
in
good thing.
Philadelphia for this?
Uh-huh.
They are.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I know Philadelphia was their turning point.
It was. It was also 619 day, right? June
That's right.
19th.
Oh, yeah.
619 day. This was also the day that Manny Machado had a big story talking about how his elbow hadn't quite let him get to the spot that he could to drive the ball. And this was that random day of demarcation where all his stats were bad before June 19th. And then from June 19th to the end of the year, he hit like an MVP.
Yeah.
He hit with an OPS well into the 900s. So this was that day. Manny Activation Day / Circle the Wagons Day. Because when we last left our beloved Padres in the last chapter of Best of Padres 2024, they had just walked off the Oakland A's, back-to-back games at home. They had improved to 2 games over 500, and then they had put on the fancy suits and, and the nice bags and taken all those, pictures
Oh, yeah.
going out, the bus
Fit
to the
check.
airport. Yeah, exactly. Fit check. They had their fit check. Everyone's fit check. Vibes immaculate. All of that as they headed out on an East Coast road trip that would take them through New York and Philadelphia. 5 days later, the red alert flag was flying over the Odyssey headquarters once again because the season was in deep trouble once again. The Padres got swept by the New York Mets at Citi Field. They got shut down on a Friday night by Sean Manaea. They got shut down on a Saturday afternoon by Jose Quintana. And then on Sunday, Dylan Cease went out there to stop the bleeding, and he bled all over the place and gave up 8 runs. And the Padres got hammered.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, just metaphorically.
Okay. I remember the series going into it. We were talking about how the Padres had struggled against left-handers, but how these were aging. I mean, Jose Quintana and Sean Manaea was still, you weren't sure what Sean Manaea you were getting at that point. Like, he'd had a good start to the season, but it's Sean Manaea, and he'd been shaky up to for the last few years, really. So, yeah. I mean, I remember the Mets series being like, the Padres should do well here. Like, the Padres should do all right.
Yep.
Against the Mets because, they're seeing so-and-so and it probably won't be they'll probably be able to get to him or whatever. And then,
we were hopeful that Friday.
Right.
We were.
Yeah.
And then we came back the next Monday.
Turns out the Mets were a good team.
Mets were a good team. And we caught them at the exact wrong time. That was the time of year that they were, launching forward. Nonetheless.
Rock bottom.
Yeah.
6 games in.
I love it. I love it.
And then it all turned around.
Yeah.
So, having been swept, the Padres moved on to Philadelphia, where at that point, the Phillies had the best record in baseball, not just the National League. They had the top record in MLB. And on the Monday after the weekend series, Padres got blown out 9-2, never in the game. The next day, they led the Phillies, and Robert Suarez wobbled for the first time all year, gave up 4 straight hits to start the 9th inning. Padres wind up blowing the game and losing. First loss of the season for Robert Suarez. If you remember Friday's edition of this, that was that time that Suarez was getting pitched
a lot.
Every game.
Yeah.
Because no one else could do the job. This was also the time just after Jeremiah Estrada's amazing strikeout run where he got deathly sick. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Yes.
He was so sick.
Lost like 15 pounds.
And it took him...
over like the course of a week and a half or something.
Like over
2 weeks.
a week,
right.
He lost like 15 pounds. And then he kept pitching, but it took him almost 6 weeks to get back to being good again. There was a solid period of a month where he was getting hit because he was out there sick as a dog.
Yeah.
It was
not
wild.
ideal.
Not ideal at all. So, all of a sudden, the Padres were staring at a 5-game losing streak. It was their third 5-game losing streak in about a month's time. And it was, because here comes Ranger Suarez and the Phillies on a Wednesday, a chance to close out an 0-6 road trip for the Padres for the first time since 2009. It also happened to be the day of the Ben and Woods Open up at Goat Hill. So I was there listening to the game on a screen at the driving range as we were warming up for a round as the Padres tried to salvage one from a team that up to that point was 6-0 against San Diego. They had swept us here, and then they had beaten us 2 in a row, and there was a chance that they were going to go 7-0. And this brings us to Citizens Bank Park on Juneteenth, 2024. The season was in the hands of Matt Waldron. Matt Waldron delivered 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 1 run allowed, striking out 6. Waldron stepped up in the moment the Padres had to have a win. Waldron was the guy who delivered a gigantic performance, Andy, for San Diego.
Really a great turning point for Matt Waldron because, of course, as you would imagine, someone who's kind of been thrown into the mix there, a little shaky, and we had talked about how his first few innings of an outing he'd typically give up some runs and then he'd settle in. So when he needed to, he kind of showed them, hey, I have this in me, and it turned out that he would do it many more times again.
He sure would, but this was a time where it wasn't just like, okay, cool, Matt Waldron's pitching well. It was, no, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And this is like, it's not an elimination game. It's June 19th.
Right.
But it feels.
Let's not miss, must win.
Yeah, but it was a much, though. It was a much win game. And it's Matt Waldron with the ball in his hands, not Darvish, not King, not Cease, not anyone else. It was Waldron. Waldron did the job.
That's why Joe Musgrove at the end of the year said, hey, Matt Waldron kept us in it. Matt Waldron was kind of our ace during that time, and no disrespect to any of the other pitchers, but he stepped up during a time when they really needed him.
And early on, Matt got something he didn't normally get much at the spring, which was an early lead. Jackson Merrill gave it to him.
This one hit in the air to right field, straight away and deep. Castellanos is back at the wall. He's looking up, gonna go! Home run, Jackson Merrill. Got him in the air again, and this is home run number 8 for the Padres center fielder. Pods take a 1-0 lead here in the second.
Phillies would tie it up an inning later on a Bryce Harper solo home run. No shame there, giving up a solo shot to Harp. Then, all the way to the 7th, tied 1-1. Luis Arraez, now with an injured ligament in his thumb, singled in Merrill, and the Padres took a 2-1 lead. But he couldn't breathe comfortably. This is Citizens Bank Park. This is a sold-out crowd. It's the Phillies, for goodness sake. 1 inning later, the Padres would finally be able to exhale and feel like they had circled the wagons, courtesy of a bases-loaded appearance by Kyle Higashioka.
A 1 pitch, kind of served into shallow center field. Marsh is charging, dives forward, can't make the catch, and it gets behind him. Azokar and Machado have scored. Kim is on his way. Higashioka into third with a 3-run hit, and the Padres lead it 5-1 here in the 8th.
Kyle Higashioka's first triple. Who knew that he would get a triple? Also his last triple for the San Diego Padres.
I mean, again, too, like Kyle Higashioka showed up with the bat. To that point, up until, a week or two of this look back, he hadn't really done much.
Yep.
So you were excited for Kyle Higashioka to come through in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get to some place later in the week where Higashioka's hitting homers left and right. But at the beginning of the year, remember, we had a whole bit about, hey, I was promised 10 home runs. You hit 10 homers 3 years in a row. We need 10. And he was sitting on 2 for the longest time. And then all of a sudden he burst 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 12. He just kept surging forward. But that triple, one of the rare times all year that Kyle Higashioka got a non-homer key hit for the Padres. Usually his key hits were pulled down the left field line, just over the fence for a home run, but that was one served into center, as you heard Jesse say, and Marsh made a go at it, and it turned into a 3-run triple. Robert Suarez got the save. Padres win 5-2. That snapped. This is something I had forgotten before researching. Mm-hmm. The Padres had lost 9 straight road games coming into that, because that was that previous road trip where they dropped 1 in KC, and then they got swept in Anaheim. That was 4 in a row, and then they lost 3 in a row in New York. They had lost 2 in a row in Philadelphia. So that was a 9-game road losing streak for the team. They avoided the 0-6 road trip, and what no one knew at the time, Annie, was that was about to be game 1 of a 15-game stretch where San Diego went 12-3.
Yeah, no one knew that at the time, and it was just getting to the All-Star break and trying to figure out what is this team going to be in the second half and what are they going to do at the trade deadline. And it turns out, like you said, that this really was who they were. They had a shaky April, shaky May, but once they hit really June, it was pretty consistent for them there on out, or at least mid-June.
There was this lovely stretch that we thought they were about to take off. And what the Padres did with the momentum from that happy flight home from Philadelphia, they had no day off. They had to come back the very next night and play the Milwaukee Brewers, starting a 4-game series at Petco Park, Thursday, June 20th, Game 79. Because the Brewers saw San Diego take a nice solid 6-3 lead, and then the bullpen gave it up again, gave up a run in the 8th. Suarez had been overtaxed, overused over the weekend, or over the beginning of the week. Estrada tried to save the game. He gave up 2 runs. He blew the save. The game was tied 6-6. And who stepped up to save the day? Jake Cronenworth did.
Pitch number 7 on the way, and Cronenworth swings, hits it in the air to deep right field, way back, gonna go! For the 3rd consecutive game here at Petco Park, the Padres hit a walk-off home run. Higashioka and Merrill, and now Jake Cronenworth, who throws his helmet as he approaches home plate. The Padres beat the Brewers 7-6.
It was crazy how many walk-offs they had in this stretch,
Yeah.
and they would have by the end of the year. But there was, it seemed like every night the fans, I remember just like that game when the bullpen would blow it or whatever, the fans weren't leaving. No one was leaving
Yeah.
because now it was like the walk-off was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. Then it kind of some of that magic ran out a little bit, right? But then they still ended with a number of walk-offs and big moments and 8th or 9th inning comebacks and all of that magic throughout the season.
No, there really was. And this period in June is when San Diego turned around everything about their home season. At the beginning of the year, team was not winning at home. They were not winning night games at home. They were not scoring at home. And all of a sudden, that's the nature of baseball. You want consistency. You dream of consistency. But the reality is, the consistency of baseball is a week where nothing happens and then a week where everything happens. And then maybe if you have a couple more everything days and a few less nothing days, you wind up with a winning year.
And it was really for them. I mean, you can say what your identity is coming into the season. Hey, this is what we are. But until you go out and you do it, you don't have much to back that up. You're just saying it, right? And so for them to start to get these clutch wins really cemented we are a never say die team. We are a team that never gives up. We don't have any panic in us in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning because we know what we're capable of. That's really where all of that kind of started and took off.
It really did. And just to put a bow on the segment, after that walk-off homer, the very next day, Jake Cronenworth had a 5-hit game, including a homer.
Okay, Jacob.
Right. Best stretch of his season,
Yes.
for sure. Padres won 9-5. The next day, Jackson Merrill set the tone, hit a homer off the batter's eye. You guys might remember that because it was sort of, before it was like, oh, he pulled a homer. That's cute, but then all of a sudden he bombs one off of the eye.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, he has power. He has real power. He can hit it in big boy country. And the Padres won that day 6-4, which brings us to the end of this Padres best of, the 81 game mark. San Diego 41-40.
Just a wonderful one game over 500 encapsulation of the first half of 2024.
It really was. I mean,
Just a 500 team, but you felt like it honestly felt like their record was better because of all those big wins leading into the All-Star break. You felt like they were 20 games over 500 by that point, but really, yeah, just one game over 500. And what happened in the second half, obviously, was incredible.
yes, which we will be detailing as the week goes on. Because each day here at 11 a.m., we're going to do Padres best of between here and Friday when we put a bow on the year. Boop. And then we send it off.
When you have the advent calendar
Yes.
and you're opening the little doors.
That's exactly right. You know what's going to be under the door tomorrow?
I can't wait.
Jurickson, the Nationals,
Oh, well.
and Big Brother Manny.
Wow.
All right.
That's in tomorrow's Advent box. So look forward to that.
To pulling out that pair of socks or the candle or the chocolate or what else is in an advent. I see advent boxes for so much now. Teas,
Little Legos, too.
little Legos.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got the Lego Advent calendar for many years.
I want if I really want the thing, maybe you want whatever's in it.
Yeah.
I'll just buy the advent box and just
Just
open up all the doors and take or you could use those as gifts sometimes. No one's with me.
wow. I mean, you could.
If you receive an advent box, do you just open?
I just want to see
all
the
the
video
doors?
of you just defiling that Advent box. Just
I'll definitely open
Tearing
all the
through
doors.
it
If
like a
I was a
velociraptor.
kid, I wouldn't. But if someone gave me one now, I would. There's a great chance I would not follow the rule
Yeah,
of one
yeah.
day per door or whatever. They would just all get opened at once.
Oh, man. Speaking of opening everything at once, your Sammy update from the weekend. When I got home from trivia night.
Sammy the dog.
Sammy the dog. Thank you. Good disclaimer. When I got home from trivia last night, Sammy was in prison.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Does he have a lawyer?
Nope.
Oh.
No representation, unfortunately. Turns out.
Doesn't work in Craigistan.
Yes. Turns
He
out
goes back to the wall.
our my beloved wife Mitzi had been spending the early part of the evening wrapping presents for her teachers' aides
That's
to
nice.
give, and some of them had something, a soap or something with fragrance of some sort in it. And then she went back to the office and did something else and Sammy decided to open up all the gifts.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Just
That's great.
ripped right through all the gift wrapping that she had literally just done.
Oh, poor Mitzi. That's terrible.
That is rough.
Yeah. I got your dog is a bleep hole text.
Did she not consider Sammy hers?
Well,
I
when
mean,
it messes up, it's
you know
your
how
dog.
it goes.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
It's my dog when it's great. It's your dog when it sucks.
Exactly.
So now she has to rewrap all the presents?
She did.
I bet
She
Sammy had a
rewrapped.
great time.
He was fine with it.
He loved it.
Yeah, he was happy. He watched the
He's
second
living his
time.
best life.
Yeah, he just watched her wrap the second time. Like, so you're gonna do that again, huh?
You don't think I won't do it again?
Yeah, cool trick. Do it again. I like that game. We're gonna play again. Is that what we're gonna do? Well, then she locked him in the office, which is the smart play. Like you gotta, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Sammy knew just that's what you do with a present. You open it.
right. Gifts. Are,
He thought the gifts were for him.
well, I mean, he's a dog.
Yeah.
I like Nate's whiskey advent box. I saw my buddy Dallas McLaughlin has one of those. He's been opening it. You get a little.
Yeah.
Hey, sláinte it. I mean, that's the way to go.
They are kind of fun, Advent
Yeah.
boxes.
Now that might be it. Yeah, but if you really open 20 whiskey advent doors at once, that's a bad night.
I mean, I'm not drinking them all.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
Opening them.
Okay,
right?
fair enough.
Yeah.
When we come back, we open up the box that contains Braden's football segment inside. A football will come spiraling out of the little door once we open it with all the overreactions from the weekend that was. Stay tuned. It's Andy and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Don't let AI dictate your fantasy lineup. Instead, get bite-sized fantasy football analysis in your ears with the Sleeper King podcast, giving you all the fantasy insight you'll need in just 20 minutes every day. Every league has a Sleeper King, and it should be you. So follow the Sleeper King on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Craig, Annie, and Braden back with you. Annie and Elsten show. It is time for a Monday tradition unlike any other. It's time for the music to play and for Braden's football segment to be unveiled for you with overreactions from the weekend that was.
You said tradition unlike any other. Oh, wait, we're not talking about the Masters? Oh.
Not that one.
Okay, here we
Not
go.
that one.
Let's get locked in. Lock it on a
No
Monday.
green jacket
That's right. No green jacket
that
today.
you're wearing, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's not really green, is it? No. Should have worn a green jacket today. We could have talked about the
Would've thought
Masters
about that,
way
yeah.
before.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about some of this. We talked briefly about the AFC and how the playoff field might already be set. Broncos' victory improved their chances of making the playoffs to 94%. Their victory over the Colts per ESPN's Football Power Index. Take that for what it's worth. AFC West champion Chiefs, AFC East champion Bills, and AFC South champion Texans. The Colts clinched Houston's second straight division title on Sunday. Have all locked up their spots. The Steelers haven't clinched their division yet, but they have clinched a playoff spot. That's 4 out of the 7.
Yeah.
The Ravens have a 99% chance to make the playoffs, and even the Chargers, who lost to the Bucs on Sunday to slip behind Denver in seeding, have a 90% chance to make the postseason. That's 7 teams with chances of 90% or better with 3 weeks to go. This sounds pretty academic, if you ask me. Buy or sell, the AFC playoff field is already set with 3 weeks left.
Chargers could still fall out of there.
They
I don't think
could.
they will, but I mean, I think they're going to lose their next game. But the two after that are two patty cakes.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
why
Raiders
I'm-
and someone else.
The Patriots
Yeah.
That's why I'll sell.
on the road. I don't think the Broncos are going to lose anymore. I don't think their schedule is as difficult, and the teams that are chasing are the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Bengals. Colts' schedule is not very good, though, so a couple of hiccups there by the Chargers, and all of a sudden the Colts are back in
Right.
play.
Like anything can happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in all likelihood, you're probably right. I'm gonna. I guess I'll buy. I think
Okay,
it probably.
I'm gonna
yeah. I mean, I want the Chargers to fall out, but
Here's the
How
math
about,
on
though,
it.
Like that's the first time in NFL history that half the playoff field is set with 3 weeks left to play.
It seems like it. Is that
no,
true?
it is. Yeah,
that
I
makes
mean
sense.
that's wild.
I was gonna say I
I
felt
don't
like
think it's
this,
that good for the NFL. They like the drama till the end.
Yeah, it's not great for fantasy championships either when half the players are out because they don't have anything to play for. ESPN.com says 90% is not 100%, so therefore it is an overreaction. They're selling it. Colts, Dolphins, and Bengals are all 6-8. If any of them went out, they'd finish 9-8. That means that if, for example, the Chargers lost all of their remaining games and finished 8-9, a spot would still be open for one of those other 3 squads. Chargers don't seem likely to lose out. They have a home game against the Broncos on Thursday and finish with road games in New England and Las Vegas. But it is the Chargers.
and road. I mean, it could be like
Yeah.
blizzardy in New England or something.
I'm going with any given Sunday, and it's just not as cut and dry as it seems.
Cincinnati's final 3 games are against the Browns, home against the Broncos, and then at the Steelers. Broncos have the Chargers, Bengals, and Chiefs. That's a little difficult. Colts' schedule is very easy.
I
Very,
could
very
see
easy.
the Bengals just because they've been so crazy mixed up backwards. I could see them win each game going to the Steelers game.
I could see the Bengals winning out. The Bengals need a lot of help to get in, but you never know. We saw the Chargers do that here in San Diego a couple times. 4-8, had to win
Yeah.
4 straight to make the postseason. They did. Got some help from
Yeah.
catastrophic failure from the Broncos that
Yes.
year. Moving on. San Francisco's quarterback, Brock Purdy, is eligible for a contract extension this offseason for the first time. He will have 1 year left on his rookie deal, and because he wasn't a first-round pick, the team does not hold a 5th-year option on his deal. Purdy has been a supreme bargain for the Niners, performing as one of the best quarterbacks in the league while earning less than $1 million a year. He's scheduled to make 1.1 in 2025, but the Niners want to keep him around. They'll have to jack that number up quite a bit, and most teams that extend their drafted quarterbacks do so after year 3. Purdy led the NFL last season with a quarterback rating of 73.4. This year, he's down to 64.9, which ranked 9th in the league entering Sunday's games. And in Thursday night's ugly loss to the Rams, Purdy was 14 for 31 for 142 and an interception as an injury-riddled Niners fell to 6-8 for the season. Tough decisions coming for the Niners, confronting a number of different moves that they potentially have to make with some of their veteran players coming up this offseason. Brock Purdy might not ask for the $60 million per year that Dak Prescott is getting, though he does have more conference championship games and Super Bowl appearances, but hard to imagine him signing for less than $50 million annually. That's a major commitment for a team that'll have to replace several cornerstone players in the near future. Buy or sell, the 49ers should wait on extending Brock Purdy.
This is a tough one. I mean, he was the diamond in the rough for them. He's gotten them to be relevant again, to be a team that has a chance again, but then clearly something is off this year, and I don't know what exactly is. The injuries play a part in it, but it seems like something else is off.
Well, I mean, I look at it, right, and he's been on loaded teams for, like, the most of his career.
That is correct.
And he's done a good job. He hasn't, like, lit up the scoreboard, but he's won games. And now that his entire team is decimated and now all of a sudden he can't play anymore, or he's not putting up the same numbers, do you really want to give this guy $50 million? Because if you give this guy $50 million a year in the National Football League, that means you're not paying for all of those studs that are all all around him. Somebody has to go.
He's going to get paid somewhere, right? Like he's earned the right to get paid somewhere.
Maybe. Oh, I mean, some team might, maybe Jacksonville thinks they could, whatever. Even though they have somebody, but maybe Cleveland's like, this could be our answer, right?
Right.
But for the Niners have built from the trenches out, and then they save their money on a guy like Purdy that is not going to make catastrophic mistakes, but he's not going to win you game. He hasn't won you a Super Bowl. He's gotten you there, but that's with the team. So I'd wait to give that guy a lot of money because you have to start cutting other people on the team, including guys in the trenches.
Braden, I agree with you. I think that the Niners have had this lovely window where they've had a system quarterback that was getting paid an inexpensive amount and was surrounded by bountiful talent. And the second that particular situation changes, you have to change as well. You can't turn it from we've got a system quarterback surrounded by talent to now he is a franchise quarterback and he will be the one who carries us. Brock Purdy is not a franchise quarterback. And I'm sorry to say that because he's had a lot of success, and it's cool to be the last guy drafted and come in and succeed. Exactly. All of that. It's a great story, bro. It is. But this is a business. This is a cutthroat business. And I think the Niners will have more success finding another young system quarterback to plug into the system and surround with talent than they will to say, Brock Purdy, you're our man for years to come.
I think they're going to sign him to a big, massive extension.
I don't see John Lynch. I don't see John Lynch doing that.
I think that they just
remember they made that big play for Garoppolo and that didn't really work out. And then they got all these studs, and then Purdy kind of filled in. And I don't. You know what I look at? I look at the Ravens. I look at the Ravens with Joe Flacco, and he got him to a Super Bowl. And they're like, we got to pay this guy, franchise quarterback. And then they paid him, and then all the studs left because they couldn't afford him. And then the Ravens were just mediocre for years until they got rid of Flacco, and then they restarted it again with Lamar.
They don't have to pay him this year. He's under contract next year too, right?
Yeah, that's the extension. So that's why.
Then I would wait.
Yeah, you'd buy it. You think they should wait? I would not overpay for this guy right now, and then have to make that a decision early.
I would buy that.
Game of the day yesterday went to Buffalo and superhuman quarterback Josh Allen as the Bills beat the Lions 48-42 in Detroit. It was the second week in a row that the Bills gave up more than 40 points, which is obviously concerning, but since their Week 12 bye, they have averaged 41.7 points per game, and Allen looks like he's on an exonerable path to his first MVP. Not to be outdone, the Lions quarterback Jared Goff racked up 494 yards passing and threw 5 touchdowns in a loss. Threw almost 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, took an L with no picks.
That's a rough day.
Yeah, that means the Lions have now won a game this season in which Goff threw 5 interceptions and has now lost a game in which he threw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Hey, regressing back to the mean, I guess. That's really weird, but the upshot...
That's such the irony of the NFL.
I know. No, that's sports. That's baseball.
That's sports, exactly. You could have your best night and your team still loses.
The upshot here is these are the two somewhat unstoppable offenses with a combined record of 23-5, and it's worth asking whether they could see each other again in New Orleans in the Super Bowl. Buy or sell, the Bills and the Lions will meet again in February.
I'm selling it just because it seems too cut and dry. I want them to meet, but I think something's going to happen.
I'm selling it too because the injuries the Lions have had.
Yeah.
You can't count out the Chiefs always, right? Bills still have to get through the Chiefs. Bills, even though they beat the Chiefs head-to-head, got to catch them by 2 games. Like, they're 2 games behind to try to make Kansas City go to Buffalo for the AFC Championship instead of going to KC.
I would love to see it. I just don't think it's going to shake out that way.
I'm selling it as well, sticking with what I said at 10. I think it's going to be the Bills and the Eagles. So if you give me that one, I'll buy that one. I'll sell the
That's
other.
a Super Bowl prediction right now.
Yeah.
That's my
Look,
current.
Craig's already coming with the Super Bowl
That's
predictions.
right.
That's my
We
Super
still
Bowl
got 3
prediction.
weeks left in the year.
Right.
Then Jalen Hurts gets knocked out next week. Like,
Then I'll change it.
There we go.
Then I'll change it.
Giants lost 35-14 at home to the Ravens on Sunday. Man, did that look bad. Third-string quarterback Tommy DeVito started the game, but he left with a concussion and gave way to fourth-string quarterback Tim Boyle, who had to come in because, remember, Drew Lock hurt his ankle, who was in for Tommy DeVito being hurt. It's been a kind of a cluster since they got rid of Daniel Jones. I guess they could have used him right now. Tim Boyle managed to throw the Giants' first passing touchdown since November 3rd. The Giants were, as has become their December custom, not competitive yesterday. Giants are 2-12. They're looking at a strong chance at the first overall NFL draft pick at this point. They have the league's worst offense, 14.4 points per game. And things have gotten so bad that fans have taken to flying planes over the stadium, begging team owner John Mara to fire people.
This brought back so many memories of the planes flying over Qualcomm and StubHub and Joseph, whatever is, I can't remember your last name right now.
Plane sign
Doing
guy.
the plane sign guy,
yeah.
and then like we'd all wait with our other reporters would sit and wait for the plane to fly over, and we'd all be ready with our cameras,
Sell
our
the team.
phones.
Sell the team, Dean. Well, Brian Dable was coach of the year in 2022, his first year with the team. Giants reached the second round of the playoffs that season with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Both of those players are gone, and Dable's second and third years have gone absolutely as terrible as anyone could have imagined. He and GM Joe Sheehan both came in at the same time from Buffalo. They were charged with dragging the franchise out of its losing doldrums, and with the exception of the first season, they very much have not gotten it done. Buy or sell. Giants will be looking for a new coach and general manager after the season.
Bye.
I buy it too.
I buy that 100%.
What else are you gonna do?
Dion going to be the head coach?
Maybe.
Shador
I
gonna be
actually
his
think
quarterback?
this makes sense. Like I do. I think this makes sense.
Maybe.
World's largest helicopter parent.
Said it a few weeks ago.
New York, perfect spot for
Could you
Dion
imagine
to
the
feel
hype?
like his
Oh,
shine
my
grew. Like he's got to go somewhere where the shine grows.
That's right.
We're bigger than the Big
Obviously,
Apple.
exactly the big market, the big spotlight. That's a team that needs a head coach and a quarterback.
Done.
I think that's where he's going.
Last
Done.
one for you. Let's talk about the Eagles. Oh, boy, did Philadelphia give us some juicy stuff to talk about this past week. Receiver A.J. Brown says, quote, passing when asked what was wrong with the offense. Edge rusher Brandon Graham goes on his own radio show, and says Brown and Jalen Hurts don't seem to be friends anymore.
Oh,
This is some stuff that you just should not. This is what the problem is with everybody having their own podcast and radio shows.
you cannot start talking about this stuff unless you know for sure that there's like altercations or there's like you can't just be like, oh, they don't seem like they like each other.
A player on the Eagles on his own radio show says me and Hurts don't seem to be friends anymore. Just airing out his
and he
laundry.
said it.
He said it. Brandon Graham, the edge rusher for the Eagles, said on his own radio show. Why does he have
He
one?
has
Who
a radio
knows?
show.
It was
He
emo
does.
night. So he's
Oh
like,
my God!
"Me and
Says
Jalen
him and
aren't
Jalen
friends
aren't
anymore."
friends anymore.
That's so
Said that on his
sad.
own radio
That's
show.
like in middle school when you're like, me and so and so aren't friends anymore.
Airing out his own laundry on the radio waves. It didn't say
Just
podcast.
don't know what's the matter
it
with
says-
Jalen.
It said radio show.
We used to sit next to each other at the lunch table every day.
Cafeteria in the trailers of the.
Used to share chocolate milks. He'd always give me one.
He says on the post. He said in the post game, AJ Brown said, "Okay, we spoke about it. It's just crazy though because everybody in the locker room is saying the same thing. I kind of got crucified for it, but it's cool."
What is going on with Craig's Super Bowl pick? He didn't know they weren't friends anymore.
Well, yeah,
I'm gonna
my
have to
pick-
change some things
I'm going to
now.
have to hold firm right now, but I feel my resolve wavering.
All right, many
Moment by
questions
moment.
about whether this Eagles team was about to fall apart
You got
the
to
way
keep that inside the locker room.
last season's Eagles team did. Were floated. Eagles insisted throughout the week this was not the case. The passing game was not a problem, and they backed it up with a 27-13 victory of the Steelers, in which Hurts had 290 yards passing, and Brown had 110 yards receiving. It was the Eagles' 10th win in a row, and at 12-2, they're now tied with the Lions for the best record in the NFC. Buy or sell, Eagles' passing game is just fine. Is it fine?
I don't know.
We got guys airing out their laundry on the radio. On
Does
their
it
own
have
shows.
to be fine when Saquon's running for 150 a game? I mean,
And you got the
And they
brotherly
did-
shove.
Right. They passed. They did fine yesterday.
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
I'm buying
yeah.
it. It's not an overreaction.
soap opera stuff, man. It's the NFL. It happens all
I
the
don't
time.
think we're friends anymore.
I just don't know what happened.
I couldn't imagine that. Like, what if... He's got his own radio show? Is he on WIP just talking about...
Let's just start with that. Like, maybe...
Is this a
He
good
should
idea?
invite Jalen Hurts on his radio show, and they could talk about it.
Yeah, he should
That
interview
sounds
him.
good.
He's got a radio show.
It's a Draymond
let the
type
guy-
thing to do, right? Yeah.
Let the guy have a voice.
But that's a podcast. It's a little bit different. It was like, did you see the podcast with the St. Brown brothers?
No.
Amon Ra
Oh, wait. Was
with
this?
Leggett?
Yes, I did see that.
And they say he likes to eat raccoon.
He likes to eat. He had a Thanksgiving raccoon.
Yeah, his kids hunted it and then he cooked it, and it's his favorite thing to eat is raccoon.
And he said
And
it
he was-
doesn't taste like chicken.
He says he was dead ass too. He was just like raccoon. And then I was like, where's this guy from again? I remember we went to South Carolina. He is from a town of 1,500 people in South Carolina.
Wow.
Raccoon.
Hey, man.
Would you ever?
No, absolutely not. Those are filthy animals.
Like they
It's
are
disgusting.
There's
That's like
a reason
eating a
they're
rat.
called trash pandas.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
why,
don't-
that's
you
why
don't
there's
know,
a
like,
trash.
what is, how does a household grow up? Like, who knows? You know what I mean?
I mean, you're talking about like the St. Brown brothers, whose dad was a professional power lifter. That's like rigorous about nutrition stuff. Sitting
Yeah.
there, like their eyes were like,
Oh, I love.
Did you say what you just?
I loved Amon Ross look.
He's like, what?
But to his credit, he was asking questions. You know what I mean? He was like, how do you get it? How does this work?
You buy it
When
at
do you eat it?
Well, I'll hunt it. Mm.
How do you prepare it? What does it taste like? Like he had questions. He didn't just like, oh no, man. Like he had questions.
He sounds Cajun every time he talks. He's from South Carolina, from a town that's got 1,500 people in it
I
that
would
eat
never.
a lot of raccoon. I guess.
I would never.
No, I would never. What if you had it and they didn't tell you it was raccoon and it tasted good, and then they told you it was raccoon? Would you immediately spit it out?
It'd be too late. If I thought it tasted good, it's already
Would
down
you
the
have
gullet.
it again? If you knew it tasted good
maybe.
and they've tricked you?
Like here's what's going to happen. We're going to have some like, hey, come enjoy this special meal prepared by Gordon Ramsay. And here's an amuse-bouche, this tiny piece of meat with this demi-glace on top served with a this and a that. And then you eat it and I don't know, this is good. What was that? Oh, it was raccoon. By the way, it's an all-game meat night tonight.
Yes. Raccoon. I would never. It's disgusting. That sounds disgusting. It's like eating a rodent.
I mean, it is.
I know, it is. It's just a giant rodent.
I mean, I'll just throw in there, though, that when enslaved people had to find sustenance, they would eat that
Well, I'm sure.
to allow for more nutrition, or
It's
more
2024.
food.
I mean,
Protein.
there's these
But
guys.
you just never know, like,
Guy
what,
plays in the National
you
Football
know?
League now. It's just that's amazing to me that he was just like raccoon. I was like, oh, okay. But he's the same guy that wanted to try all the German foods.
Right.
Remember all the things like he doesn't eat asparagus. He doesn't eat vegetables, but he eats asparagus.
Asparagus. I remember that. Asparagus.
Asparagus. Lovely get.
Well, it's a lovely side to any raccoon dish. is some nice steamed asparagus. That's right. It's what you like
Didn't
to
he
do.
hate all vegetables?
He
Or
did, yeah, except for like
Except for
asparagus.
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 Let's take a time out.
What else did he pronounce really weird? I forgot what else he did.
When we come back, my alma mater might make the NCAA tournament. That quick story as we head toward the 12 o'clock sports fix. Andy and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Did you know you can listen to 97.3 The Fan with your smart speaker? Well, you can. Ask your device to play 97.3 The Fan. Give it a try. See
Hey,
what
Alexa,
happens.
play 97 through the fan.
Boom.
It's going to be that kind of week.
It's going to be.
We're just going to break all the rules.
Crazy. And then we won't even be here next week. Yeah. Punk rock.
We better foul out on Friday. I'm sorry, I fouled out.
Yeah.
Only one foul today. One
What
personal,
does
one
go
team.
on the station then?
Just
what plays?
Infinity Sports Network.
Yes, exactly. The beloved creation of Odyssey. Infinity
Which is
Sports.
basically just CBS Sports Network. Nothing changed except for the name. They just changed the name. It's all the same people.
Here's something they won't talk about next week on the Infinity Sports Network, unless you got a really random moment. The UCSD men's basketball team has won 7 games in a row. 7 in a row. Remember, if you're out there and you're wondering why the heck are we talking about it,
You going to the game on Saturday
I'm not saying I won't.
at USD?
I'd love to.
This is great for you at UCSD.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The Tritons are 9-2. They humbled Idaho on the road, 80-56. Blew them out. Hayden Gray stole 5 basketballs from Ohio, didn't return any of them. He leads the league in steals.
Just got him all in his bag.
Threw him in a mesh
They're
bag.
in Logan right now with a bunch of basketballs from Idaho.
Slung him over his shoulder.
What if he gets fined for that?
I mean, you would if you really did that.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Like, they've got
With all the Vandal balls we got here.
exactly every ball's got a Vandal stamp on it. He's just like, I like this one.
Coach Olin gets asked about it.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, when I get 5
What's going
steals,
on?
when I get 5 steals, I steal the basketball 5
The
times.
twin sausage.
But just it's exciting stuff to know that there is a college basketball program here that has been building slowly, organically through Division III to Division II to D1, but in transition. 4 years where you're having this transitional phase where you're playing schools bigger than you. You're playing scholarship schools. You've got scholarships, but you can't go to the playoffs. You can't go to the tournament. You're not even eligible. Last year, they won 20-plus games, couldn't go to the tournament. They bought their way into the CBI just because that team deserved to have a little bit of something to celebrate at the end of the year. Then their number 1 player transfers to USC.
Right.
And here they are. Coach Olin, 9-2, rolling. Big West, they could make it.
Yeah. For Coach Olin, I think it's really cool for Eric Olin because we had him on earlier this year, and he has really transformed this program and seen them through the lean years and then through, like you said, the difficulty of transitioning. That's not an easy thing to do and to sell players on, and you're going to get there, but how are you going to be once you get there because you've been in this purgatory for a while? And to see them having some success is, I think, like a nice cherry on the top for a program that's been driving to get to this point.
I just think it's so cool. And in the era of transfer portals and NIL and everything else, this is a legitimate college story, like a classic college basketball, feel good, build a program, take years. Eric Olin was an assistant coach there for years and years before he became the head man.
Tough game tomorrow.
Got that.
In Logan, Utah.
Oh, yeah.
Against
Utah
undefeated
State.
Utah State.
That's a fun one, but
Could be
hey,
a good one.
You're going to get
don't
challenged.
count out
yeah.
the Tritons.
That's right.
We're right back with the 12 o'clock Sports Fix after this. Halfway point of Andy and Elsten on the Fan. Happy Monday, everybody. To all those of you still at work, get those lunch pails out and open or drop in your order for what's about to be dropped off at your office. It's time for your 12 o'clock sports fix in your Monday lunch hour. Annie Halpin, Craig Elsten, Braden Soprano with you on the Annie and Elsten program. Time to get you caught up on all the news from the weekend that was. We will start things off. Well, I know you got at least one trade to talk about in your baseball report, Annie.
I have a few things here. We'll see if I can scrounge it up. Okay, the Athletics and Rays have announced a multiplayer trade that will see left-handers Jeffrey Springs and Jacob Lopez head to West Sacramento.
Woo!
In return,
West Sacramento, born and raised.
It's so weird to say it.
It's rough.
In return, the Rays will receive right-hander Joe Boyle, the Athletics pick in the competitive balance round A of the 2025 draft, and 2 minor league players in righty Jacob Waters and first baseman outfielder Will Simpson. Isn't there a Jacob Waters in our chat? Or
Yeah,
Jake Waters?
yeah, Jake Waters,
Waters.
yeah.
Maybe
He's a
it's
college football guy.
Okay, well. All right. The Braves announced that outfielder Brian De La Cruz has been signed to a non-guaranteed deal for the 2025 season. The deal is specifically a split contract, not a minor league deal. It's an early birthday present for De La Cruz, who turns 28 years old. No stranger to the NL East, he broke into the majors with the Marlins in 2021 and spent parts of the next 4 seasons in the Miami outfield. The Astros have emerged as a serious suitor to acquire Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado, according to a report by The Athletic's Chandler Rome. Rome writes that no deal is imminent, but talks between the two clubs have picked up since this week's winter meetings. Arenado has a full no-trade clause, and it's unclear if he would waive it to go to Houston, per Rome. The Pirates and Red Sox announced a trade that will see infielder Emmanuel Valdez head to Pittsburgh in exchange for right-hander Joe Vogatsky. Valdez was designated for assignment by Boston. Valdez has appeared in 125 big league games since making his MLB debut with the Sox during the 2023 season. After Friday's blockbuster Kyle Tucker trade, the Chicago Cubs addressed another off-season need by finalizing catcher Carson Kelly's 2-year, $11.5 million contract. Kelly's contract includes a mutual option for 2027, according to a source briefed on the deal, with $5 million salaries in each of the next 2 seasons. And speaking of the Cubs, they are talking with the Marlins about a possible trade involving left-handed starting pitcher Jesus Luzardo. USA Today's Bob Nightingale has also reported on the Cubs' interest in the 27-year-old lefty. He is under club control for 2 more seasons, and Miami's asking price reportedly includes one of the Cubs' top bats in the minor leagues. And finally, the Mariners and veteran left-hander Drew Pomerantz are in agreement on a minor league deal, as previously reported by Just Baseball. Aram Leighton. I'm not
That's
sure
a
what
foul.
that's.
Automatic foul.
The deal
Automatic
presumably,
foul.
I put this in here just for us. The deal presumably includes an invite to Major League Spring Training. This is the kicker. Pomerantz, 36, is a veteran of 11 MLB seasons, but hasn't thrown a pitch in the majors since 2021. Oof.
But he's been employed every year since.
Guy loves
Not a
ice
bad
cream.
job if you can get it. Which
Some of
he's
that time
been
with
able
us.
to get. Yes, that's right. A 4-year contract given to him by the Padres.
That
which
is worse than saying hockey
did not
club.
see,
Drew Pomerantz signs
did
a
not
deal.
see it really going to fruition.
Minor league contract.
Oh my God.
Hey, we wish
see
the
if he
kid well.
sticks
He's
with
one
the
step
Major
away.
eye roll, Annie.
He is
Queen
one
of
step
Iowa
away.
strikes again.
He is one step away from being a weapon in the 8th inning.
That's right. Can't wait to trade from
He's
at the
going to compete
deadline.
for a spot at spring training. I'm
Sure
sure
he will.
So.
I'm sure he will.
Till his second appearance when he finds that he has
arm
a
hurts.
mysterious pain.
That's right.
Maybe it sticks with Florida. Maybe the Mariners is really where his arm feels good.
Well, maybe. Here's Braden with the football story.
I'm disappointed in you.
It's the holiday week.
Don't make excuses. Terrible.
This is only Monday. Imagine what it's going to be like by Friday.
I can't believe.
I'm going to be really scraping the bottom of the
I'm
barrel.
not upset. I'm just disappointed, Annie.
Sorry,
Make
Dad.
Excuses. You just sounded like me talking to the kid.
Yeah. This is me talking to Sammy the dog after he ripped up the
Sorry,
pack.
Don't
Dad.
make excuses.
Don't
Won't
make
do it again.
excuses. Come
But
on,
it
we-
smelled like
we
a
gotta,
pine
we gotta,
scent.
we gotta hold each other accountable here. Annie, hand up, accountability. Come on, embrace it.
You enjoyed it secretly.
You know what?
Deep
Maybe,
down, you really did.
maybe a little, but I'm enjoying Craig dying laughing over here a little bit more.
It woke you all up, so you know.
Yeah. Hey, we're back and rolling here at 12 o'clock Sports Fix. Let's get into some NFL news before I get distracted by the Drew Pomerantz signs a minor league deal. I can't believe she put that in her report. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes has a high ankle sprain that the Kansas City Chiefs, quote, don't think is bad, sources tell ESPN's Adam Schefter on Monday. Diagnosis was revealed through testing done Monday. The Chiefs will evaluate him through the week to determine if he has a chance to play Saturday against the Texans. Chiefs will then face Pittsburgh on Christmas Day, completing a stretch of 3 games in 11 days. Remember Mahomes was pitching about that last week?
Yeah.
And now he's got a not as bad injury.
Figured out a way to get out of it, didn't he?
That's right. Well, he got tweaked bad. Mahomes was removed from the Chiefs' 21-7 victory over the Browns on Sunday midway through the fourth quarter after being hit while throwing a fourth down pass that was incomplete. Chiefs don't think it's as bad as initially reported. Detroit Lions running back David Montgomery, this is bad, is out indefinitely after suffering a sprained MCL in Sunday's 48-42 loss to the Bills, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Montgomery is undergoing additional testing on his knee and getting a second opinion. The sources told Schefter there are some within the Lions organization who believe Montgomery will be lost for the season. That's bad news for the
That's
Detroit
very bad.
Lions.
Sonic just lost Knuckles.
Bad news, not really for the Niners, but maybe Devondre Campbell. Should be in an episode of Don't Do This. The Niners plan to suspend linebacker Devondre Campbell 3 games for refusing to enter Thursday night's game against the Rams, sources confirmed to ESPN on Monday. The suspension for conduct detrimental to the team, first reported by NFL Network, likely would end Campbell's season. The Niners, who are 6-8, are mathematically alive for the postseason, but behind 4 other teams for the 7th and final NFC playoff spot. Campbell's decision not to play in the Niners' 12-6 loss angered coach Kyle Shanahan and many of his teammates. Quote, it's not something you could do to your team or your teammates and still get to be a part of our team, Shanahan said Friday. Team had the option of cutting Campbell, who's 31, which would have allowed him to go on waivers and potentially sign with the team to play out the rest of the season. But a suspension would possibly allow the Niners to recoup some of the $3.35 million signing bonus they gave Campbell when he signed a 1-year, $5 million deal in March. Yeah. Guy didn't want to play. He's like, all right, well, you're not going to play. You'll just sit on the bench.
Yeah.
We'll suspend you. He's not the only guy that's refusing to play. Deontay Johnson is also out indefinitely because he refuses to play for his new team in Baltimore after he was traded from Carolina. I don't know what the deal is with him. There's a lot of players refusing to play now, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
As Adam Paul said, must be nice just to collect a check.
Well, yeah.
You stop collecting it when they suspend you,
Yeah,
right?
right? Well, that's what the suspension. Deontay Johnson has not been
But
suspended.
it just hasn't been reported. But yeah, he's not going to get paid while he's
like,
suspended.
I don't want to play. So he ain't playing. And now he ain't getting paid. But that's it for the NFL. I got more in college in just a little bit.
But first, let's
more.
bring you the voluminous local NBA, NHL report, starting with our local teams. San Diego Seals kicked off the local sports weekend with a 14-11 win over the Colorado Mammoth on emo night. Seals are now 2-1 on the season.
Did we see what Woodsy looked like at emo night? Or
I did see the
saw like a
guy-liner picture.
deal,
Yeah. He did a before pic when he was at home, just showing the guy liner that he had put on.
Okay.
And the hair.
Yeah.
Do
Looks
you think
solid.
he put it on, or do you think Hannah put it on for him?
Good question. Don't know.
Okay.
Good question.
I'll find out.
He said he also, I saw in a future social media post, he had a difficult time taking off
Oh, no.
the guy liner.
I would hope that he had
Guy
the
looked like a
right
ghoul all
resources for
weekend.
that. Yeah, like, you have to have a good eye makeup remover, and it'll do it for you. Don't just try with water. You'll scrub your eyes.
You'll scrub your
death.
eyes out.
Scrub your eyes out.
Amazing. So that happened on Friday night. Saturday night, Front Wave Arena in Oceanside was buzzing for the first ever San Diego Sockers home match in their new home.
Oh, that's exciting.
Crowd of over 4,500 reported by the Sockers. Their first ever match of 2024-25 against Utica City FC. And boy, was it a controversial match.
Uh-oh.
The match was tied 5-5 going into overtime, obviously. San Diego had blown the lead. They gave up an own goal to give up the tie. And then in overtime, so get this. I actually, as I'm driving up to Front Wave Arena, I get a call from the commissioner of the league because the game was on CBS Sports Golazo Network. So he just wanted to make sure I knew all the different new rule changes that the league had from
Okay.
one year to the other. So we had a nice, very pleasant conversation where we just went almost like a little quiz, like, okay, what are the rules, right? Because I'm going to be the one on the air. Turns out I knew the rules more than the lead official
Oh, wow.
in the game.
Not good.
Someone's slacking.
Yeah. So
Or somebody's a know-it-all. Come on.
yeah, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. If you want to hear me go through the whole thing, give me a ring or something. I'll tell you the whole thing.
Random people are just calling Craig. I wonder what's going on.
Take us through all
who
the
are
rules.
you?
Can
How did
tell
you
us
get
the
this
soccer
number?
story? I'll be like, sure.
Who is this, by the way?
There were a series of 4 calls made in overtime. Each one of them was wrong. Each one of them was progressively worse than the
Wait,
than
so
the first.
you are making these calls, or
no,
you're
no, no.
not?
I'm
Okay.
describing the
Oh,
official.
the officials.
The
Okay,
official.
I thought you knew the rules. All
the
right,
lead
got
official
it.
in overtime made 4 calls. They were all incorrect. They were all progressively worse. And the last one involved literally reversing the outcome of the game. So one of the new rules I had been quizzed on was that there's a challenge system for replay in the league, just like the other league, right? Throw a flag.
Craig learning the rules. Is there going to be a quiz? Apparently there was.
There was. But in overtime, the league reverted all power of replay to the lead official. So there's no challenges, but the lead official can review anything at his or her discretion.
So he or her has to decide, okay, I need to take another look at this, or the head coach can be like,
Head coach has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Only the official.
they just decide, this is a little too close to call, let me take a look.
And it became the official show in overtime.
Yikes.
As after he had put 2 incorrect yellow cards against San Diego and sent 2 guys to the bench, then there was a presumed foul call against us. He pulled the blue card for a penalty. He went like this: blue card, review. So he didn't trust his own call.
Oh.
Pulled the card and immediately turned around and went to the replay monitor
To watch his own
to
call?
watch his own call, and then decided he was wrong. Pulled the blue card off of the, ended that, no power play for Utica. But then, about a minute later, Utica's best player, Kelvin Oliveira, got a steal from one of our guys, who then that guy tried to climb up the back of him to stop him. Didn't happen. Shrugged him off. Came in, passed to a dude, header, goal, game over. Utica wins 6-5. Utica. Players are jumping, celebrating.
Okay.
Handshakes begin. The official, whose name is Shane Butler, the official then walks to the middle of the field and goes, nope. No. None of you leave. None of you celebrate. You all stay right here. I'm going to go watch that play.
What?
Now, there were no fouls called
Did
in
it
the play.
seem like it was a close
There were no
call?
fouls called in the
Okay.
play. As I mentioned, when the ball was stolen, our guy tried to go up the back of the other guy, and he kind of shrugged him off.
Okay.
A little swim move thing, kind of shrugged him off. Guy fell down. But there was no whistle. The officials are there. There's 3 officials
Yeah,
if
so
there's a
should
foul.
have been a clean ending there.
Right.
Right.
So, and, put up the hands, goal.
Yeah.
But because this guy has unlimited replay ability, he literally decided to go back, just hit rewind, and scan through to find a foul. And he decided that the little swim move was maybe contact to the face. And he turned back time, reversed the clock, took the goal off, put everyone back on their benches, and restarted the game. And 30 seconds later, the Sockers scored.
Wow.
And they won the game 6-5.
That's a bad look. Normally, I'd be in favor of, hey, replay, check, make sure, but not when you're taking advantage of it the other way, which is essentially, if every sport got to rewind the last 10 or 15 seconds of every play
Right.
and look for things on the field that they
Could
missed.
you imagine?
No, because it's complete. That's the whole point. Like,
Right?
Some people do. You sometimes do get away with stuff, but that's the whole point. Like, it's you can't just go backwards on every play and say, let me just check here. I'm not sure if I did my job right the first time.
How about
I could see if something happened.
Yeah. How about the game-winning field goal in the Super Bowl, and everyone's going crazy,
Right.
and then the official says, "Hold on, I want to go back and see if anyone
Stay
was
on the field.
offside."
Right.
Yeah.
Let me go take another look and see. Now we didn't pull any penalties, but I'm just going to go look for a foul. I thought it was.
And you get the benefit of playing it in slow motion afterwards or whatever, or playing it under your
Right.
little tarp thing and
like
watching it as many times
the
as you
result
want.
decided.
Right.
With
You're
the
already biased
it's
toward
done.
whatever. Right.
It's done. So now to me, in order to change history, you have to you have to, like, it has to be egregious.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
I agree. If it's egregious, okay, I understand it.
But in the estimation of this guy who's called soccer's matches for 15 years and really knows the players and is invested in them winning, I didn't think it was a foul. I mean, I thought it was like questionable at best, and no way would I have not called it in real time. And then, to me, I just thought it was a desecration of the idea of instant replay in a game.
Now, did you say that the commissioner called you and went over the rules?
Yeah.
Well, I would dial his number back up if I were you and tell him, hey, this ain't working.
I heard a little birdie on my way to the car in the parking lot that that man may have already received the moment he got to his locker room some admonitions.
I just think you should be the one, too, to let him know.
Well, I got to let the whole audience know on CBS Sports Galazzo Network what I thought, and what I went into Macbeth, honestly, on the game-winning call. I said, "What's fair is foul, and what's foul is fair."
Oh, wow.
Because that's where we were. It was just the world's upside down. Who wins, who loses, who's to say apparently this man is. So a really, really weird way to end the game. Really weird. Honestly, really unsightly, in my opinion. I thought, like I said, a desecration of the idea. Like, no, if someone on the other bench wants to throw a flag and challenge something, that's different. But I don't think there should ever be a rule in sports where you can invent a foul afterwards that wasn't called.
Yeah. I mean, that would be like, okay, let's let the game end, and now let's go back through all 4 quarters and find everything that we missed, and then we'll change the point score at the end of the football game to reflect the real winner and the real loser, and we'll take away some touchdowns because that should have been called. Like, it's you can't.
It's insane.
If it's egregious, I like it. I like the fact that you're going to go back and you're going to check, but that was not egregious.
Yeah, it was insane. It was absolutely nuts. And to the O-siders in the chat, I did announce the game. The O-siders. It was on CBS Sports Galazzo Network with me and Tony Sanchez, and we'll be back Friday for the next game. They'll be at home against Tacoma. So we'll have that game for you at 7:30 p.m. Friday on Galazzo, and right after we finish our last show of the year, I'll be driving up there on Friday afternoon. Okay. Sorry about that. That went a little long, but I had to tell that story. Crazy story, right? Worth telling?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
San Diego Gulls are 4-1 in December. They beat San Jose 5-2 at home Saturday night. San Diego Clippers are on a roll. They swept the Santa Cruz Warriors this weekend, 123-89, 120-108. That was the G League tip-off tournament. They finished it with a 9-5 record. Now they go to the G League Winter Showcase, which is held in Orlando at the Wide World of Sports from Thursday to Sunday. NBA, Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers finally we're starting to get a little bit healthy, find a little bit of momentum, and then Embiid got cracked in the snout with an elbow on Friday, and he has a sinus fracture, and he'll be out at least a week. And then he'll be wearing a Phantom of the Mask, opera mask again. It is hashtag trade season in the NBA right now. That's because there's a 6-month rule where when you sign a deal, it's 6 months before it's eligible to be traded. All the deals are signed on June 15th because they have a first day of free agency and everyone goes crazy, like we wish the Major League Baseball will. Yeah. So that meant when June 15th everything was signed, that means December 15th, everyone's free to get dealt. So 2 trades have already happened. The big one, Golden State Warriors have acquired veteran point guard Dennis Schroeder from the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn gets injured player DeAnthony Melton, young guard Reese Beckman, and 3 second-round picks. Schroeder's going to step right in to be the starting point guard for the Golden State Warriors. Miami Heat sent reserve big man Thomas Bryant to the Pacers for a second-round pick. On the scoreboard last night, Lakers won their 3rd in a row, 116-110 over Memphis. LeBron was back. He scored 18 points. The Pacers, Knicks, Celtics, T-Wolves, Suns, and Mavs also netted wins. There'll be 6 more games tonight. Best one probably Denver at Sacramento. And then tomorrow, NBA Cup final between OKC Thunder and Milwaukee Bucks. Really nothing happened in the NHL, so back to Braden.
Nothing in the NHL. Nothing worth it. Let's talk about some college and high school, college football news for you. 2 departing members of the Mountain West Conference are suing the Mountain West with millions of dollars at stake. Colorado State and Utah State filed a legal complaint on Monday in the Colorado District Court in Denver over millions in exit fees that the Mountain West believes the schools owe. Colorado State and Utah State are two of the 5 schools that are announcing in September their plans to leave the Mountain West for the Pac-12 starting in July of 2026. Boise State, San Diego State, and Fresno State are the other 3. The Mountain West is requesting an exit fee of $19 to $38 million per school, according to the complaint. In the complaint, Colorado State and Utah State argue that the exit fee is, quote, invalid and unenforceable. They accuse the Mountain West of secretly amending league bylaws during meetings held without the 5 departing members present. They also accuse Commissioner Gloria Navarez of striking side deals to enrich existing conference members, such as UNLV and Air Force, with the exit fees from those departing schools. Though the other 3 departing schools are not part of the suit, they hold similar beliefs as Colorado State and Utah State. The legal complaint includes a letter sent to Navarez on November 22nd from all 5 schools stating that the exit fees are invalid. Quote, the conference attempt to impose the exit fee on the 5 institutions is improper and unenforceable, the letter says. The exit fee, which is completely unearthed to any harm to the conference from the members' departure, is clearly designed to punish departing members and is therefore invalid as a matter of law. So now they're going to talk about this in court. So we'll see what happens there. Sounds like the departing schools have zero interest or have any intention of paying said exit fees. We saw Grand Canyon doing this.
Yeah.
These guys are doing this. I would imagine Florida State, when they're trying to get out of their contract, they're going to try to do this. A lot of legal messes with
Seriously.
college athletics.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to get sorted out.
Speaking of, Penn State head coach James Franklin defended backup quarterback Bo Perbula, who entered the transfer portal Monday and will leave them before the college football playoffs, saying, quote, we got problems in college football, and that Perbula should not be put in this position. Franklin said the timing of the open transfer portal, which overlaps with the college football playoff preparation and games and creates urgency for quarterbacks to make their transfer decisions, creates an untenable situation. The overlapping college football playoff and transfer portal timeline has forced me into an impossible decision. Prebula, a redshirt sophomore who had a clear role in Penn State's offense behind starter Drew Aller, wrote Sunday on social media. His portal entry comes after Aller informed Penn State coaches that he would return for the 2025 season. Obviously, a lot of this stems on academic semesters. And so right now, everybody's parting ways with their teams if they can find a better place to play. A lot of them on playoff teams, a lot of them in bowl games, and you have this giant problem on hand in college football. Unlimited transfers, open window for a lot of these guys. It's a mess that has been created. Yeah, for college athletics. Speaking of, John Matier, the Washington State quarterback who had a great year, which the Washington State fans have called him Johnny Football, will not be participating in the Holiday Bowl because he has now entered the transfer portal. There's rumors that an SEC school would be willing to give him $3 million.
Whoa.
And so he entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, well, I would too.
And again, so now he will not be playing in the Holiday Bowl. Danny O'Neal, San Diego State quarterback that entered the transfer portal, has already found a new home. He has now committed to Wisconsin. So he is now a commit for Wisconsin.
Done.
So it's done.
Oh,
Yeah,
good for you, Danny.
Left,
Closer to home.
found a spot,
Yeah.
goes to Wisconsin. So there's the college insanity news. High school basketball, top 10 as of last week. Montgomery, number 1 in the county with 14 first-place votes at 6-0. Carlsbad, number 2 with 4 first-place votes, followed by San Marcos, Torrey Pines, Santa Fe Christian, Mission Bay, La Jolla Country Day, Cathedral Catholic, Olympian, and St. Augustine as we move into basketball season here in high school athletics. To finalize the high school football season, Lincoln won the Division I AA championship over Pittsburgh 28-26. El Cap lost in their respective division to Carmel. And then Monte Vista ended up losing to, I think, Somerville in their state championship game. But San Diego got 1 out of the 6 as a state champion, which is always great to see, winning the top 1 that we were a part of. So that's a look at high school and college as we go a little bit longer on a weekend review of the sports fix.
Well, I gave you like a 6-minute story about bad replay to kind of torch the clock, but had to be done inside the fix. Felt like that was the spot for it. So let's take a time out, 12:25, and we'll come back with everything else next. Thanks for being with us. Anybody knows in just one segment from now. Stay tuned. Annie and Elsten on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 12:30 on the Fan. Short segment here as we get ready for Anybody Knows, our first silly game of the week, the game of ridiculously easy trivia. Wasn't that ridiculously easy last week?
No, it wasn't. There's some hard ones in. There's some difficult ones in that group.
Isn't that wild? Like, sometimes it's the easiest thing in the universe, and then other times it's just like, whoa, hang on.
Yeah, can't believe that was on there.
So we'll be opening up the lines momentarily to dive into that. Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy. That's one of the things we didn't get to earlier in the program.
A really nice speech by him.
Yeah, that was cool. Mm-hmm. You know, shouting out his dad. I don't know. Did you guys hear the story? Why couldn't his dad be there?
I don't know why. Did you know?
Don't know.
No.
Couldn't tell you.
But had a very, this is for you, Dad speech, basically.
I saw a video of his dad watching that at like a party that he was having.
Okay.
But I don't know why he wasn't there.
Well, far be it for me to find out the ways and means of the Hunter family and why or why not Dad couldn't be at the ceremony. I would think if my son was winning the Heisman Trophy or being a finalist that I would
probably be there.
I
I don't know what the circumstances are.
Right.
I'm sure there was. I'm sure there were extenuating circumstances. I'm sure he didn't stay home just to be at a party.
Right.
But nonetheless, we talked about this earlier, and, I love the fact that Ashton Jeanty had such an incredible year, and what he's done obviously has propelled Boise State into the college football playoff. Without Jeanty, they would definitely not be anywhere near the college football playoff. Instead, they've got a bye in the first round. But at the end of the day, even though, as you said, Braden, he wasn't all-conference wide receiver or all-conference defensive back, Travis Hunter was just playing both sides. He was never taking a play off, essentially, and I think that's worth it in the end as a unique case to be the Heisman Trophy winner.
I mean, I thought it could have gone either way for sure, and you wouldn't have been mad at whoever got it. But the difficulty in playing as many snaps as he did, that is impressive, the ability to play as much as he did and as often as he did and to suit up and to do that. I think that there's definitely some credit there for that. But I think either one of them could have gotten it, and you would have felt like they both were deserving. I don't know, Braden, did you feel any differently?
I think there's something to be said about playing both ways in college football. I mean, it's very difficult to do. It's difficult to do at the high school level, let alone at the next level and at a Power 5 level. So just because he wasn't necessarily the best at both, I think it does have to be recognized. It's just kind of cool to see a defensive player be a part of it. But I could have gone either way. I mean, I think something to be said about the being able to go both ways. I think something to be said about being the best player at your position in the country, and that's what Jeanty is, right? I don't like using the narrative of like competition. Well, he played better competition. He played what the schedule was in front of him. It's not his fault. He shouldn't be punished for that, and that's been the case for a lot of Mountain West running backs that have come out of San Diego that haven't been able to be a part of this award. I just think the Heisman Trophy is kind of a popularity contest and kind of a hype award anyway. I think it's been like that for the last 15 to 20 years. I don't really care who wins. I don't really watch more times than not. But I thought this would be one of the more difficult decisions. But I thought Travis Hunter would probably win. If I had a vote, I probably would have voted for Jeanty. But the same thing is, I could have seen either of those being the thing. I think you have to evaluate, like, him being able to play both ways is kind of significant. There's not everybody's doing that.
Yeah. It's hard.
I mean, he's
the
only guy
to do.
Yeah, he's the only guy. It's an Otani case, essentially.
Right. The only difference is Otani is elite at both things.
Right.
Travis Hunter is good at both things.
Who on what side of the ball do you think he'll play in the NFL?
I was wondering that too.
He strikes me as a defensive guy. How big is he? How tall is he? Do we know? I mean, I don't. He just strikes me as a defensive player more than a offensive player, and like Wikipedia and everything always lists him as a corner. Yeah, I mean that's kind of a cornerback size in the NFL nowadays, not a receiver size. I mean the guys that are dominant receivers are like 6'4", 6'5".
Right.
Just like guys look like DK Metcalf. Right. Travis Hunter would be kind of like a slot guy at 6'1". But he'd be a great corner at 6'1". I think he probably is a defensive player. But
that makes sense.
He says he wants to do both. Good luck. It's the National Football League.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Of course he wants to do both. I think the fact that Heisman Trophy is not going to be taken away from him, hopefully, that'll be enough. That'll be on his mantle as being the best two-way player that anyone had seen in the 21st century of college
It's
football.
impressive to do. I mean, it
is.
Snap is not a stat. I agree with that, but at the same time, it has to be a significant portion. It was close. I mean, Genti was on more ballots total than Hunter was. He had 95. He was on 95% of the ballots. Hunter was on 93% of the ballots. So there's a couple of people that didn't even have Hunter on their ballot.
That's interesting.
Which is interesting. Like Genti, even though he didn't win, didn't have the most first play, right, with first place. He was on almost everybody's ballot, or a little bit more than Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is the fourth, I think it said the fourth most, he's on the fourth most ballots all time, and Genti was on third most ballots all time, which is very interesting to me. How does that happen?
Yeah, no kidding. The other big story from college, of course, over the weekend, and we carried the game live right here on 97.3 The Fan, the Army-Navy game. Good game, good solid game. Navy won. Of course, we're the home of the midshipmen, so I guess we should be corporately happy about
flagship.
That. Yeah.
Not flagship, we're an affiliate.
Affiliate.
And Braden, you were saying that this is kind of doesn't do it justice for TV, but it is kind of like a throwback to not all of the portal drama and everything. It's just kind of two good teams playing one another.
Yeah, I mean, you get that with Army Navy, you get that with the Pioneer League, right, with no scholarships. You get that with the Ivy League schools. I mean, those are like those are the school. I mean, obviously the Army Navy gets scholarships, but those are like it's traditional college football, right? And it's a rivalry with respect, right? There's no flag planting, there's no like taunting, there's no whatever, because they know that they're on the same team eventually, right? And it's a really great game to be a part of. I always thought this was the most boring game of the year in college football every year until I went. And I went for 3 straight years, and then I was like, this is the coolest, most chilling thing I've ever been a part of as a football fan. You know, the passion, the excitement, the throw the records out, to see the cadets and the midshipmen just go nuts in the stands, to see all these like high-ranking generals that the United States has, acting like mascots on the sideline, just going it's such a big deal to so many people, and the way that they celebrate after and how they do things before, and the saying that this is the only game where everybody on the field is willing to die for anybody in the stands it's pretty cool. TV doesn't do it justice. Navy went out there, they were ready to go. They went out there like, we're going to kick this team's ass. I don't care what their record is. Army looked like they were reading their press clippings. We're 22 in the country. We had the best O-line in the country on an award. Had their head coach. They're like, we just missed the college football playoff. Their head coach on your boy Pat McAfee, Annie, on his show say, they still have a program down there? I don't know why you would ever say that before the game. I mean, that feels like some easy bulletin board material, but Navy punched them in the mouth and looked 10 times better than Army did throughout the entire afternoon. I mean, Army's quarterback got votes for a Heisman.
Yeah, but
if you had to pick between the two, Navy's quarterback looked way better,
no doubt,
than Army's quarterback. But overall, good game. The thing that sucks about Army right for the game, they found out that Marshall, bailed out of the bowl game against them because they don't have enough players to play because everybody left in the portal. Same with their coaching staff. Almost the entire coaching staff left for better jobs, and 30 players have entered the portal. So they don't have enough players to play in the game, and so they had to find a replacement. So instead of Army, who won the American Conference, taking on the winner of the Sun Belt, who is Marshall, they'll be taking on 5-7 Louisiana Tech in basically a glorified road game
after losing
in
to
Louisiana.
Navy.
After losing to Navy, right? Yeah. Exactly.
So I guess we get to play this game.
I guess we get to play Louisiana Tech that doesn't deserve to be in this game because they went 5-7, but there's nobody else. So
I think my favorite new-ish tradition of Army Navy is the different uniforms they use every year, and
a tribute to a different,
exactly. And
group,
so it was a Battle of the Bulge tribute for the Army uniforms, and then a tribute to the Jolly Rogers fighting squadron,
which is one of the best that Navy has. I didn't know that, but
yeah. And so, but they had it was cool. I saw the wide receivers when they held up the gloves. It had like a pirate.
Yeah,
you could see the pirate skull. In the two hands when they interlaced. It's really, really good. The uniforms are cool. I saw a behind the scenes on that it's a 2-year process.
Oh, yeah.
Every year from design to concept to execution. And then there's one really cool day on campus where everyone gets called in and they don't know what it's about, and all of a sudden the smoke machines go off and everyone runs out in the new uniforms.
Play the hype video with it and everything.
Yeah, so really good stuff, and like you said, it's not something that you can build an hour of talk radio around, but it's a great tradition, and it's a great thing to kind of check in on if you're not a part of it, and if you're a part of it, then it's the biggest game of the year.
I definitely recommend attending if you ever had the opportunity to do so. It's again, TV does not do that game justice. You have to be there in person to really, get the full force of Army Navy and the traditions that a lot of people have, just like you would see in all parts of college football. It's a very unique game, for sure.
That's awesome. All right, we have reached that time. It's time to open up the lines and get ready to play our first silly game of the week, the game of easy trivia, known as Anybody Knows, where you take on Annie Heilbrunn with a 10-question quiz card over 60 seconds, and if you get as many or more correct, you will be qualified for our end-of-the-month grand prize drawing for a 2-night stay at the Westgate in Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Hoops Central at the Westgate Superbook. So we need a contestant right now. Means we need to open the lines. 833-288-0973 is the number. 833-288-0973. Give us a ring. Braden will pick a contestant during the break. We will come back and play Anybody Knows next. Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be back with you on a Monday. Reminding you that the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino is a pretty cool place. It features newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million room renovations, home of legendary Vegas fun. Inviting you to experience the madness of March as only Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino can serve it up to you with high-definition screens, luxury seating, table service, and access to all the best gaming action. Enjoy hoops from the best up-and-coming stars on giant HD screens in a smoke-free environment. For tickets, head to westgateresorts.com. We play a silly game to try and qualify you for this grand prize. We've got 5 more chances before the end of the month. Today is one of 5. It's the game of easy trivia known as Anybody Knows, where you take on Annie Halbrin for 10 trivia questions. Today, Jeremy in Miramar is our contestant. Hello, Jeremy. Welcome to the show. And I'll press the button. Nope, I pressed the wrong button. Welcome to the show, and welcome to Silly Games. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we play.
Well, I'm from the area, live over in San Carlos, go Padres, ready to take Annie down.
Love it. Okay. Here's how it's going to work. Our quiz master, Braden Soprenant, is standing by. He's got a 10 trivia question card that he has pulled from the game that we bought at Barnes & Noble. And he's going to read you those 10 questions. After he finishes reading the first question, you'll have 60 seconds to answer as many as you can. When you're done, we'll bring in Annie, who is currently outside, unable to hear anything that's going on her phone. We'll wave at her a few times. She'll know to come in. And then she'll do the same questions. And if you tie or beat her, you are in the drawing. So, Jeremy, I wish you good luck. I'll be keeping score for you. And I turn things over to Braden.
Best of luck, Jeremy. 1 minute on the clock. Any of these stump you can pass. If we have time, we can get back to it. But whoever's got the most will win. We'll start the clock on this first question. Carry this on a ring and use it to unlock the door.
A key.
That would be a key.
Would.
Major key alert. There you go. 1 for 1. The sound made by a snake or an angry cat.
A hiss.
Hiss. Yes. Cats make hissing noises?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What does... Oh, yeah. There you go. What does NASA stand for?
National. I'll pass.
National All Pass.
National Pass is not the answer. National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Number 4.
What color is the top light of a traffic light?
The top light of the traffic light is red.
Red. If you bother someone by being excessively nice, what are you said to have done to them with kindness?
Killed them with kindness.
Kill them with kindness.
Very well.
What does the abbreviation MPG stand for?
NPG. National.
M.
Product.
M.
Oh, MPG. Manufacturers. Product.
Miles per gallon.
Miles per gallon. Yeah. Straightforward.
This sea creature looks like a flower, but has stringing petals. Clownfish live safely among them.
Jellyfish.
So have you seen Finding Nemo? His house is a sea anemone.
Oh.
Sea anemone.
Yeah.
Wow, that wasn't easy.
I knew that.
The process by which food is turned into energy for the body. The what process?
The process which food is turned into energy for the body.
You need a Tums if you eat too much.
Yeah, indigestion?
Digestion.
Well, digestion.
Digestion is the
Digestion,
process. We'll give you
yeah.
the credit for that. A device by a parking spot to pay for parking for a designated length of time is a what?
Meter.
Parking meter.
And number 10.
A person you like and enjoy being friends with. I gave it away. A person you like and enjoy being with is a friend.
Friend.
There's a free one.
All right. Okay, Jeremy, you got 7. Stay on hold. We'll see if Annie does any better. Here comes Annie Halbrin, blissfully unaware of our 10 questions,
Blissfully.
ready to be tempted with the fruit of knowledge. Here we go.
Okay.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Carry this on a ring and use it to unlock the door.
Carry this on a key. You carry a key.
Okay.
Okay.
A key.
A key.
A key.
Here.
Here.
The
Yes.
sound made by a snake or an angry cat.
Hiss.
Hiss. What does NASA stand for?
North America Sky Enterprise. Wait, North America Sky. Actually, there's an A. North America Sky
You already got it wrong.
Enterprise.
What is this, the entourage? The student section for the anteaters? That would be the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
That's
I
an
was close,
administration.
close.
You were very close.
So close.
The Enterprise.
The entourage.
Oh my God.
What color is the top light on a traffic light, Annie?
The top light.
Yeah, the one on
Yes.
top.
What color is that one?
Red. What?
It's red. It's
Oh,
correct.
it's red. It's
Oh my
red.
God, Brayden.
If you bother someone by being excessively nice, what are you said to have done to them with kindness?
Kill them. With
Kill them
kindness.
with kindness.
Yes.
What does the abbreviation MPG stand for?
Oh, I'm not falling into that BMW trap again. MPG, miles per gallon.
Miles per gallon. Is
That's
correct.
right.
Yeah.
This sea creature looks like a flower, but has stringing, quote, petals. Clownfish live safely among them.
What? This thing looks like a petal? A starfish?
No,
What?
no,
Huh?
no. It
A
looks
coral?
like a flower, but has stringing petals. Clownfish live safely among them.
answer
In
was
Ariel's
coral.
kingdom? In Ariel's
No.
Yes.
Ariel's kingdom,
you're good with the
special
Disney part. but
pretty
it's-
flowers?
What does Nemo and Marlin live in Finding Nemo?
I
got
didn't
brush-
know either.
A sea anemone. It'd be a sea anemone.
They live in a sea anemone?
They live in a sea anemone.
because they get used to the electoral whatever, and it shocks other sea anemone.
Moving on. Question number.
The process by which food
Eight.
is turned into energy for the body.
Digestion?
That is correct.
Yes, ma'am.
A device by a parking spot to pay for parking for a designated length of time.
A meter.
Parking meter.
Yes, a parking
A
meter.
person you like and enjoy being with is a what?
Thank you for being a friend.
A friend.
And with a final score
That'd be pretty close.
of 8-7, Annie is victorious
Hey,
today.
Oh, Jeremy, I'm
Well
sorry. What did Jeremy miss?
sea anemone, NASA,
I missed those two.
But MPG is where you win.
MPG.
You had the gas.
Well, Jeremy,
Close.
call back again this week or sometime soon.
Well, we only got
and
4
play
days
again.
left, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
But you can
Play
still
again,
try.
Jeremy.
You can
Yeah,
still
you
try
can.
again. Yes. Jeremy, good job. Appreciate you. Thank you for being a loyal listener to the show. And sorry you didn't win this time. But that's the way the game goes.
So the cookie crumbles.
On Anybody Knows.
I thought the red was going to be wrong when you gave me that
No,
buzzer.
I hit the wrong button.
And I thought, like, in my head, have I been seeing
Right,
it
all
wrong
these
the whole
years.
time? Is green at the top. Right.
All these years. Was it me or was it? No, it was Braden. It was Braden.
That's
Just
right.
gaslighting me. You
That's
know?
right.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much that was. I agree. When we come back, hour number 4 of the show, we'll hit reset on all the topics from earlier today.
Like Drew Pomeranz.
Right. And trouble for our beloved Lions as well. All back with more on Annie and Elsten.
Send it to me too.
Final hour of the program. Great to be here with you. It's 1 o'clock on the Fan. It's Andy and Elsten, your midday hang. We go till 2 o'clock. Gwen and Chris will check in from 2 until 4:30.
There's 2 Monday night games today, but they kick off at the same time.
And I heard we're carrying the Bears-Vikings. I heard Paul say that this morning.
Okay.
He would be the guy who knows, Mr. Imaging Director.
The sun has come up in Scrabistan. He's already here.
Oh,
He's working away.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
The sun has come up
Yes.
in Scrabistan.
Usually it barely peeks through the clouds, the storm clouds that are there. I mean, Scraby should be in a good mood because the Niners didn't lose this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
No, they lost on Thursday.
They lost on Thursday.
And then the Rams won.
Oh,
And
that's
then,
right.
yeah.
He had a tough Friday.
Yes.
Well, by the way, isn't it, is it this week? Is it this week or is it next week? I think the Niners, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's this week. And the unfortunate thing is we're not going to be able to get the full recap from the afternoon show. But coming up next Sunday, the 49ers are in Miami to take on the Miami Dolphins. And both teams have their backs against the wall trying to stay in the playoff race in their respective conferences, both at 6 and 8, with Chris
Grudge
Ello's
match.
Dolphins and Matt Scraby's Niners.
Oh, the Gwen
they
and Chris
watch it
grudge
together?
match. I would not pay to watch that, but if it were streaming, I would maybe second screen the Ello and Scraby taunt fest
Correct.
as the game continues.
And I would need Tony in the middle
yes,
to just
to be frustrated.
Just Tony
just to
would
piss
be-
because he'd get under both of their skins.
He would.
Which
But
would be
like,
great.
About at halftime, he'd be like, "I'm out of here. Like this is not how I want to spend the rest of my day with you two bickering at each other."
I would have said first time out, first quarter is when he was out as opposed to halftime, but maybe indeed.
He'd be a great referee for a while, but then you're right, he'd taunt, but then he'd be like, which you should do, then be like, "Hey, peace out. You guys continue this disaster."
See, I think he would like to keep adding fuel to the fire the whole time. I think he would
you
just
might be right. You might be right.
consistently poking. Hey, that's the tough. That's Purdy throws a pick. That's a tough throw there, Scrape. Going back to Ello on a Tua pick. I don't know what they're gonna do here. Keep poking the bear.
Well, it's tough because those are lifelong team assignments for those guys. They've loved their team for years. Unlike our beloved Lions, who we picked in a drawing, essentially. I mean, we picked in an elimination bracket, but
Thank God we're not talking about our beloved Bears tonight. Being
thank
rough. 0-6 on
goodness.
the road, going to Minnesota.
Thank goodness.
Well,
We're about to be
when they get that
4-10.
first road win, it's gonna be
Oh, wow. Yeah.
really,
So
really
We're
sweet.
popping champagne.
So sweet.
Was it extra sweet that it was against the Vikings? Division rival.
And the Avenue head coach,
Chicago's clue.
they gotta find make that thing work.
Chicago's program director is like, was it extra sweet that it was against the Vikings? Was it extra sweet that it was against the Packers?
Oh my
That'd
lord.
probably be more Packers to the Bears. I don't know. Who do the Bears hate the most? The Packers or the Vikings? Probably the
That's
Packers.
good.
Packers.
Packers,
I
For
would have
sure.
to guess.
For
I don't know.
sure.
I don't like the Bears. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Well, John's a Bears fan. We should ask him next time we see him.
That's a good question. So our Lions yesterday played what they talked was a Super Bowl preview, and it very well may be. It's only going to be a Super Bowl preview if Detroit can get some healthy bodies back on the defensive side of the football. I'm afraid that our beloved Lions are running out of members of their pride.
Yes.
The pride is thinning, unfortunately.
Simba's looking over the land, and
Yeah.
there's not much there.
No.
Everything you see is yours.
Scar.
there's no
Scar keeps
defensive
knocking him
backs.
out, man.
There's just no linebackers or defensive backs.
tough
but
scene.
Everything else you see is yours. Yeah, 48-42 yesterday. Josh Allen looks like he might be MVP of the league this year. And good on him.
I showed Craig in the break this Bills fans tweet. Fans are just insane, dude. They tweeted out, it was a picture of Josh Allen and his fiance at their the engagement photo, and it said God bless you, Haley, because since Josh Allen has been engaged, he has thrown for 17 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, no turnovers, no sacks. Haley has unlocked his fullest potential, and
Haley
we
did
thank
it.
you for this. Thank you, Haley. I can't wait for the Haley statue outside of the new Bills Stadium. Oh, showing your grandkids down the road.
Hey,
why does she have a statue?
Every great man is a great woman.
That's right.
That's right.
She unlocked Josh Allen's full potential.
She unlocked it. His muse.
That's right.
His muse, Haley the Muse.
The
was the
problem
yin
is
to
that
his yang.
if Josh Allen regresses at all, like in future years,
Oh man.
poor Haley, she's gonna get all the hate mail.
Well, he's gonna get the good. It's great when they're engaged. As soon as they get married, she's
Right.
gonna be the reason for all
Yes.
his
Sorry, all the
problems.
problems. Yeah,
Hey,
they're in the
listen,
honeymoon
yeah,
phase.
That's right. They're in the honeymoon phase still. It's all right. Things are working.
It is true what Braden said earlier. I mean, Jared Goff, right? 5 touchdowns, you said? 5 touchdowns, 494 yards. Lose the game.
Throws 5
Lose the game.
picks,
Yeah,
and they won.
they won that game.
I remember talking about that. Craig was
Yeah.
bringing that up. That was just insane how they were able to do that.
Well,
Maybe
but
they're
they're-
better without him.
This
Their
is
guys are
not the
going down like
Lions.
flies,
This
yeah.
is not the Lions. The Lions are not the throw it all the time team. That's not right. Goff wins by doing his Phil Simms impression. Play action pass, find the wide open guy, get St. Brown on third down, hit your tight end, right? I mean, how many games has Jared Goff been like 18 straight completions for Jared Goff? But yeah, any game that he throws over 400 yards,
Yeah.
give me an instant money line. I will be putting money on the opponent.
Over 400 yards and 5 TDs.
That means they lost. Like, it means they lost. It's not like
Right, you're
he's-
saying they had to go away from their strategy.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, when they win, it's going to be, unfortunately, it used to be David Montgomery scores twice and Gibbs scores twice, and then Goff has 16 for 17 passing. You know what I mean? Or 19 for 22 passing. Those have been his games. When he has to throw 50 times, the Lions are in deep trouble. But the big reason why the Lions are in deep trouble is because their defense is just decimated. And, and it started with the big pass rusher back in the Vikings game. And since then, it's just been a regular parade of guys heading to the tent and then heading to the locker room. As a result, 2 games in a row, Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell has been accused of being insane, when in fact, his sanity should not be under review at all. He's clearly sane. His logic is as sound as possible. The only question you need to be asking is is it okay for a head coach to be saying, not in words, but in action, we only have one side of the football?
Yeah. And David Montgomery out with season-ending surgery now, so
So it's official.
it's
now.
official.
It
He
is official.
Gone for the season. Season-ending knee surgery. And so, yeah, if you are Dan Campbell, you are like, let's just try to keep the offense rolling. Let's not put our defense on the field. We just don't have anyone there. But didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the onside kick, it didn't make any sense. I mean, I feel like you could have just held to a field goal with a lot more time, and you put yourself back into the same situation you're in because you're able to move the ball down the field. I mean, they onside kicked it with like 11:30 to go with 3 timeouts down 10, and they almost house it on the onside kick. They punch it in the next play, and then the Lions scored with 8 minutes left on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got the exact same situation, down
Right.
10 with
Too much
8
time.
minutes left.
Right.
Right? And then they kicked it deep with 3 timeouts, but they couldn't stop. They could not stop Josh Allen and the Bills. I mean, their defense is decimated right now. They had no answers, which is not good going into the postseason. And even though the Bills looked really good offensively, I mean, this is back-to-back weeks the Bills have given up like 40-something points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't beat the Rams, and then they came back and were able to beat the
Right.
Lions. But I mean,
Yes.
as much as we keep talking about, like, well, the Bills, they haven't been able to stop anybody the last 2 weeks either.
Yes.
The only team they were able to stop were the Niners in the snow, and that's been it the last couple
a
of
good
weeks.
point.
But that's equally as concerning if you're the Bills. I know how great Josh Allen's been playing. I just saw the tweet again, but thanks Haley, 14 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, no turnovers. But if you're just going to get yourselves into shootouts, there's going to be some teams that could hang with you in some of those.
No, that's a really good point, Braden. And maybe instead of me just being so blithe and saying Bills, Eagles, I've got my Super Bowl pick, that's the angle by which the Chiefs can fight for a 3rd championship in a row, is if they can get to that game and Buffalo just can't stop them. But the problem is, does anyone really truly believe that Kansas City has that next level that they haven't shown for 15 weeks?
Maybe with Hollywood Brown coming back.
I do.
I don't.
I
They have
think
not.
that the Chiefs sometimes I know they don't. They've had all these 1-possession games. kind of won a lot of these games like by the hair on the back of their head. Like it's been so close, but I still think that they get into the playoffs and they at least turn up into a different mode, at least somewhat. I don't know if they have the personnel this year, the ability to get it done, and things have been a little weird. It seems like in terms of Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce and all that, but they're still them. Like, they still know how to do it.
They're like the Bengals right now. The only difference is the Bengals have lost those one-possession games.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have won those one-possession games. I mean, you flip
Could
it.
have gone either way.
And
But
the Bengals are right there at the top, and the
Yeah.
Chiefs are trying to battle their way into a playoff
But it
spot.
didn't. That's the thing. Like, I agree with you. It could go either way, but the Chiefs figure out a way to get it done.
Here's what concerned me
Or
about
the other
their
team
game.
figures out a way to lose, I guess.
Not that I'm truly concerned.
Or the third party gets involved.
Yeah, I'm
gonna sip my
concerned
tea now.
trolling.
It's
I'm not
true.
concerned. I don't actually care about the Chiefs. But they played Carolina yesterday. Is that right? Who did they play
No,
yesterday?
Kansas City played Cleveland.
Cleveland, that's it. They played Cleveland. I was watching the game earlier. I got my clothes
Pat Mahomes
mixed
walking
up.
off the field limping concerns me.
He
Well,
does that a lot, though.
Right, but high
And
ankle
the
sprain.
Chiefs didn't. The Chiefs were not like. The report today was they're not that concerned. They were not super concerned about it.
Why would they say that they're concerned?
Well, they didn't say it was bad. I mean,
It always scares me when they say that, when they say it's good.
They
It's
say
like, we're
they're-
not that concerned.
you know,
I feel like that's like
they're not that
internally is.
I fire up my Padres
different
injury
story,
translator
right?
if
Yeah,
it's
well, they're
living
not,
in my
they're
mind.
not the
I'm like,
Padres. They're the
oh, he's out for
Chiefs.
the
They're
year.
putting a new leg on him as we
They're
speak.
the Chiefs. I mean, Montgomery did the Montgomery thing was like it's not very good, and then he has season-ending surgery.
Yeah.
This is not a lot of teams go everything's fine and then season-ending
Yeah.
surgery. That's might be unique to a certain area of the country.
Yeah. I guess the one thing I was going to say about that Cleveland game, even though I started to call them Carolina, the Cleveland game was that I heard the highlight, like Mitch Holthus on Kansas City's radio call, exulting, so happy, so
Padres fan.
relieved because Kansas City took a 21-0 lead. It was literally their first 3-touchdown lead of
All
the
season.
entire
All
season.
season.
And guess what? They finished 21-7.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did.
It
It's
just
true.
stopped right there.
They didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Just stopped dead cold. So
Go through their season. They beat the Ravens by 7, 27-20. They beat the Bengals by 1, 26-25. They beat the Falcons 22-17. They beat the Chargers 17-10. They beat the New Orleans Saints, who aren't very good, finally a double digit, 26-13. Niners by 10, Raiders by 7, Bucks by 6, Broncos by 2 on a blocked field goal.
Right.
Lost to the Bills, who were good. Lost them by 9. They beat the Carolina Panthers by 3 points on the road. Beat the Raiders by 2. Beat the Chargers by 2. Beat the Browns yesterday by 14, but they're up 21-0. They're not like they've been in the past. They're not like
I agree
it's
with
not
that.
like their 2 losses or whatever, 1 loss on the year has been like they're just annihilating everybody like they did 2-3 years ago.
They
It's-
usually annihilate everyone and have like a few, 2 or 3 weird games, but then otherwise annihilate everyone. So I get your point there.
I mean, even some of the teams that I mentioned, they were not like, world beater
Blowouts,
teams,
yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
they're coming up. This is a good tester for them the last 3 games. They got Houston, Pittsburgh, and Denver. Those are 3 really, those are 3 good football teams that they're going to have to deal with, and 2 of them are on the road. They got to play in Pittsburgh, which is very difficult for teams to win, and they got to go to the Mile High City, and they got to play Denver on the road to finish the season. And Denver's going to be jockeying for position
Right.
for playoff spots. It's not like that game's not going to matter. It's definitely going to matter, especially with the Chiefs having the Bills on their ass for the number 1 seed. Otherwise, they got to go to Buffalo in the AFC Championship. I mean, it's not a good time for the Chiefs to like rest Patrick Mahomes either.
Nor is it ever a good time to play the week after you took a high ankle sprain.
No, not in.
That's a great way to get very badly hurt.
especially in 3 games in 11 days. This is tough for these guys right now. This is a tough
That
little
is
stretch.
brutal scheduling.
3 games in 11 days. Mahomes has an ankle sprain, and you got to take on the Texans and the Steelers coming up.
So who's
But what
third
do they
choice?
have? Wait, they've obviously locked down a playoff spot, but they're still
They won the
competing.
division.
They won the division, so why not rest guys?
Because they
Because
want number 1.
they don't
Number
wanna go
one's
to
the only
Buffalo.
bye.
You get a
only
bye,
get one
and
bye.
you'd have to go
that's
to
right,
Buffalo.
That's right.
Because
Okay.
Buffalo currently is right there. Because Buffalo has the tiebreaker against them. They're the only team to beat the Chiefs.
Ooh, that's a rough scene
And,
then.
and
Yeah, you need
Buffalo
those games.
is right there. And the Bills have the Patriots twice to finish the season with the Jets mixed in, and they get the Jets at home.
Win, win, win.
Yeah, so they're going to potentially win
Yeah.
out with 2 games against the Patriots and 1 against the Jets.
So that means the Chiefs could kick 1 game. Right?
Yeah,
if
they got a
wanna-
2-game
you
lead
win
with
2 out of
3 to go
3, right?
Yeah. So sit Mahomes next week.
against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
If you kick the game, you kick the game. C'est la vie. then you've got 2 games left with him healthier, theoretically. Because I just think if you're playing on a high ankle sprain, you might not be yourself the rest of the year. It could be in January and Mahomes can't move around. And if he can't move around, they become a lot different offense. It's critical in playoff games for him to be able to slide the pocket, run on third down, all of the things that he's done to lead them to back-to-back championships. It's not just him standing in the pocket and gunning it. He's a mobile quarterback. So, it's definitely something to watch. Just last thing, and we'll go to break. So who's third choice? Is it Baltimore? If the Bills have a defensive issue, the Chiefs have a consistency / is Mahomes healthy issue. Is Baltimore third choice?
Baltimore's got a Steeler issue because they can't seem to beat them. Pittsburgh's very they don't really score a lot of points. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen Chris Boswell lead the team in fantasy points with 8 field goals made because they can't score touchdowns. So, I mean, Steelers can't really score, but they play good defense. Houston has been kind of a turnover machine, and they kind of play down to the level of their competition. Baltimore lost to Cleveland and Jameis Winston. It's like they'll have those games. They lost to the Raiders. The Raiders went into Baltimore and beat them early in the season. They don't do well against bad teams, but then they can hang with the good teams. Denver kind of coming along. Chargers, again, they're just kind of there. I mean, that's the beauty of the NFL. Everybody is so evenly matched and has a major weakness that makes it kind of wide open.
Well, we're going to have a fun drive to the playoffs and into the playoffs in January. That's to be sure. But for our beloved Lions, first sign of real
trouble.
Yeah, in a while. I mean, it's been a while.
Jake Waters said 19 Lions defensive players expected out for at least the next 2 games.
Well, let's just put that in context. There's only 11 allowed on the field at any one time.
So now you're really in the bottom of the barrel of the depth.
If you can hold on and then get some healthy for the playoffs, then you're in a better spot.
So it means we got 3 second-teamers out there, and then everyone else is a third-teamer, right? Because our first 19 guys are out.
Detroit's got to play in Chicago next week. Then they got the Niners on the road, and then they finish with Minnesota, who's right there for a division spot too. Don't count out Kevin O'Connell's boys.
Yeah, if they got into a fade here, our beloved Lions could fall all the way to the wild card game.
All right, Vikings have already clinched a playoff spot, and they're 11-2. They win today, they'll be tied for first with Detroit at 12-2.
With the mighty Sam Darnold.
That's right.
Fight on.
The San Clemente kid.
Wild, man.
How about that?
Let's take a break. It's 1:18. We're going to come back with a grab bag of some of the topics we haven't hit, and I will be drawing attention to this should have been on Ben and Woods Don't Do This today. It should have been, and I'm really pissed.
Yeah, you see me irritated about it.
I'm pissed. I don't know who it is, but I'm pissed. I am mad.
I'm mad at somebody. I don't know who it is, but I'm mad.
I am. You'll understand.
Guys
You'll
will be
understand
handing out
when we come
fouls
back.
here soon.
You'll understand when we come back. In fact, I'm going to find the picture for you, Braden, during the break. Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Stay right there. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings and try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild smoky chipotle heat. Or for a bit of a kick, check out the new Cajun sauce for a rich blend of spicy and tangy pepper sauce. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings Go. Love this bed. Thursday, I will be seeing this band live.
Wow.
At the new venue, The Sound in Del Mar. That's the Far Side, what we just played.
What is The Sound in Del Mar?
I had never heard of this.
I've never heard of it.
I had never
look it
Sounds
up.
bougie.
Well,
Well, it is Del Mar, Annie.
sounds
So
bougie.
go to the Kraken after.
I mean, it's right there.
Jimmy O's.
It's right there. So it's on the fairgrounds.
Okay.
Oh, it is.
I am assuming that they renovated one of those buildings over there by the paddock, or kind of over where the back stable area is.
Oh, there it is.
I'm looking
It's
at it right
next
now.
to the Del Mar Arena.
There you go. Yes.
Where
That
the
looks pretty
Sockers
cool.
used to play.
Oh, it's what used to be the off-track waging area. Okay,
Yes.
got it. Okay, redone
A
into
$17 million Del Mar concert venue.
Yeah. It's got 2 levels. Mm-hmm. I've got like a side balcony thing that's overlooking the stage.
Is it standing only? Is it?
I think so. I'm not
Probably,
100. Where my
yeah.
area is, I know that. My area is the standing area. I don't know if there's some specific seats somewhere. But, I think it's the first time I've ever been to an actual hip-hop concert. Will be this Thursday. Diggable Planets and The Far Side, 2 of the rap acts in the early 90s that were in that kind of Nubian rap genre, the more jazzy, the more musical, a little bit more, I don't know, like clever repartee compared to what was more of the, it used to be called gangster rap back in the day. I don't know what the better term is these days, but, NWA and, kind of the harder acts that were out there. Then you had, Diggable Planets and A Tribe Called Quest and The Far Side and De La Soul, more, and that was called like the Nubian rap.
Oh, it's related to
area.
the Belly Up?
Oh, it's their partner. Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Belly Up's
Who are you going with?
The Don's family.
My buddy John Gennaro, and then my buddy Sean Riley from Long Beach.
All right. Okay.
He's coming down. I got 3 tickets, and so I'll let you guys know Friday, but
Yes.
I'll try not to do anything to sully my ability to finish my
I
shift.
wonder what you're going to be like on Friday after going to this.
Hopefully, just fine. Just fine. I mean,
Craig got the stomach flu all of a sudden. He's got to miss the last day.
I would hate
it must
if-
be a 24-hour bug. I don't know.
I would hate if that happened.
Yeah,
but,
it'd be such a shame.
I mean, it would be a real bummer for me. I'm a completist. I like to finish things I start. So
I'm a completist. I like to finish things I start. Guy's going to be in a box all holiday break. I didn't finish the last show.
damn it!
What
It's
a
so
waste of
close.
a year.
I'm like Jonathan Taylor right at the goal line. And
What
just
a waste
boop.
of it. No, that's too soon.
Send it through
Some
the
of us
back
have
of the
in
end zone.
fantasy. Shut up, Craig. I was so pissed yesterday.
I can't blame you. I mean, if that was deciding,
There's a lot of
it's
replay
tough.
views that look like the ball's across the line at that point in time. That's all I got to say.
Amazing.
I think that'll be cool though. Check out the venue.
Yeah.
Obviously, great bands.
Hey, you can bring your clubs and go get some work in at the
Go to the range first.
at the range first. Yeah, what a great
I'm
Friday
not saying
night.
I won't. I'm not saying I won't.
They know they got the Topgolf trackers there.
Oh.
So
Oh.
hey, you can play like a fake course and then they go to the rap concert.
Make an afternoon of it. And then,
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean, it's only so much of an afternoon. You do have to get stuck in the traffic by Via de la Valle, which is miserable.
Yeah, good point.
You've
Good
got
point.
Yachtly Crew on New Year's Eve.
Yachtly
Yachtly Crew.
Yes.
Yacht Rock, a tribute band of some kind.
Wait, is it a Motley Crue yacht rock
It's
mix?
Go ahead, describe for us what that
Is
is.
it like Motley Crue songs but sung in a Doobie Brothers style? Like,
see if you can find any Yachtly Crew.
Yachtly Crew. Look at the picture. Oh my god.
Well, they're all
the
wearing like
picture.
sailor or like they're like yeah, they all look like they're on below deck, but they're not the deckies. Charisma says they put on a great show. They're awesome. Okay, Yachtly Crew is a Los Angeles-based
Crew.
band performing 70s and early 80s soft rock,
Okay,
also known as yacht
so they
rock.
don't play Motley Crue.
This is great.
I thought they actually played
Yachtly
Motley
Crew
Crue.
is kind of funny.
Yachtly Crew's
Yeah.
a great name.
The Disco Biscuits is the name of my new band. They come on Saturday, February 1st. The Disco Biscuits.
Wow.
Oh, same hotel's going there? Wow.
Hey,
In.
new venue.
Same hotel's cool.
I will
Could be
give
March.
you a. I'll give you a little review.
Hey, the
I'll give you a
Whale-
venue review on Friday morning.
Whalers are showing up in April.
Okay.
How about that? Wow.
I'm fired up.
That's going to be great.
So that is happening for me on Thursday, and we played that song coming in, and that's the only reason we talked about it.
All right, don't do what now?
Okay. I put the link in there.
We're noticeably upset about this.
So
You guys should have seen him in the break. I mean, he was in the
I
fetal
was
position,
mad.
just so
I was
upset.
mad. Well, I'm still mad because wanton vandalism
Oh,
stinks.
I knew about this.
I don't know about this.
Oh, I almost brought this up, but I was like,
Yeah.
Craig's going to be really PO'd
Yep.
about this.
Yep.
I found
And
this
so
out
I am.
last night from
And
residents.
so I am.
People like you that call that their home course.
Did
Yep,
someone
and
toilet
so I
paper
am.
something?
Oh, no.
What
Toilet
happened?
paper would have been
Toilet
way better.
paper would have been outstanding. Toilet paper, no problem. No. What happened, Annie, Saturday night, some random a-hole or a-holes broke through the main fence at Mission Trails Golf Course
Oh, no.
with some big butt giant pickup truck, some 4x4 or something, and proceeded to destroy 3 holes at Mission Trails, getting on the green and just doing donuts
Did
on
they
the
catch
green.
them?
They have not been caught as of yet.
What's
like
the,
good
do we have
forensic
video or
files.
something? What's
We
happening
have
in our...
we have photos.
I'm showing the
Okay.
photos to myself, not anybody
yeah.
else.
Oh.
We have that one's not bad.
Wait,
but
so
take a look
someone-
right there. That's
Oh.
the 8th green right there.
Why do you
the-
why do you have to do this?
Yeah, the 8th, the 10th, and the
This is
18th greens
not nice.
have been completely destroyed. A lot of the fairway has been completely destroyed. From what I understand, my buddy Rafi and his dad Ron were at Mission Trails at the driving range yesterday. This just started getting into my phone, as you could imagine, Braden, yesterday morning.
I found out yesterday night, and I was like, from some buddies that are Mission Trails residents, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is rough.
It's just
Can I enter the transfer
Horrible.
portal?
Yeah, that
Carlton Oaks.
stinks.
it's just stupid.
It is.
Like, why do you,
Cruelty.
like, let's just not do this sort of thing.
Yeah. Why do you need to do that? Why do you need to destroy a good place that people a public course, you know? It like if you were going to go against like you're trying to fight back against the bourgeoisie or
The bourgeoisie.
attack the system, like go to Madeiras, bro, like go somewhere else, you know? Why you got to mess with Mission Trails?
Because
Why-
they couldn't. That's
Right
because
over
they
there by
couldn't get in.
Coles Mountain.
Yeah.
Cowles,
and some, you know
Coles,
what?
cows,
I saw
everybody knows
something
your
on
voice.
Reddit that
Heels.
people that live on Navajo were hearing people doing like, races that night and driving around all crazy, and probably they were playing the fool and then just pulled in and said, what else can we do? How can we destroy something and make other people's lives slightly worse for absolutely no good reason so that we can have, 2 minutes of being bleep howdy boys and being out there going, yeehaw, yeehaw, woo!
That happened in Scripps Ranch not too long ago. Some of the high school kids in a lifted truck did the same thing to Jerebeck Park and just destroyed it right before the Little League season. So they had to do some serious repairs on the field. It's
Yeah, have
just-
fun.
Yeah, good for you. Sick, dude. You're
How
so
fun.
sick.
You're idiots utilizing power in this way. Just absolutely without reason. So obviously I'm here to hope that, the long arm of the law finds them at some point and
Someone catches a license plate.
yeah, exactly.
camera.
Like,
Some
they have to have
video
cameras over
somewhere,
there.
some video somewhere,
You can't walk down a street nowadays without getting picked up by 700
I'm
cameras.
so surprised that there's no camera that caught
Well,
any of this.
I'm sure they probably found it behind the scenes already. But
From what I'm hearing, it's going to cost the course up to $300,000. And it's going to keep at least 3 holes completely offline for maybe 6 weeks or longer. So it's a major, major hurt to the course. And I'm sure they've got insurance of some sort. I'm sure that at some point down the road, they'll be able to get recompensation for what happened from an insurance company. But in the interim, that's not going to happen. They're just going to have to pay to fix their golf
Yeah,
course.
and allow people to keep golfing.
Well, it's the work and time you have to put into it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where they could be doing other things. Just putting them back and all this extra work that they have to do to fix said problems from delinquents.
Yeah, just it's disgusting to me. So
Let's just not do those sorts of things.
yeah, whoever. Yeah, please come on. Yay, you've got a big, powerful truck. Oh, but I really want to destroy things.
I had a lifted truck when I was in college. I had zero urge in like tearing up a field.
I drove a
Right.
Ford F-150 for most of my life.
Was it lifted or no?
It had a little lift.
Oh, wow. East County
A
Annie.
little lift.
But you never,
33s or 35s on the thing.
Not a lot. I don't know. Just
F-150 Annie
it was a
out
family
here.
truck that I ended
Family
up
truck,
driving,
little lift
so-
kit on it. Wow. Valhalla screaming. Screaming Valhalla over here.
I
Living
never
up all
even
the
knew it was like a
stereotypes.
weird thing because everybody in East County drove trucks.
They all have lifted trucks.
right.
yeah.
So I was just like another person driving a Ford F-150.
All
I love that
All
truck.
family gatherings for the
Yeah. It's just harder to
Supermodels
park, you know?
are a
It's
lot of
harder to
lifted
park
trucks.
for me.
a lot of lifted.
A lot of
trucks.
lifted trucks.
Well, hey, congrats! You got a lifted truck.
Congrats. This isn't going to end well for you.
Yeah, don't wreck the golf course, idiot.
Idiot.
Just
You know what we do to those people? That's what you sound like. Like a mob guy right now.
I do.
What did you do? I'm sorry. You did what now?
What did you do to my good son?
Then you could put the meme of Joe Pesci walking in and Goodfellas all happy. That's what
Yeah.
happened.
Find the car, and then they can do like forensics on the wheels
Yeah,
and find the grass.
No vigilante justice. Let's not.
No
do that.
vigilante.
No. I'm saying like the cops.
No,
like,
I'm telling Adam to put it
Oh.
in the chat.
Oh, hey, no, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I need money's going to get
obnoxious.
banned here in a second.
Obnoxious. So, anyways, don't do that, please, ever again. Jerks, idiots, damn fools. Don't do that again. Let's take a break. 1:36 is the time. And we're going to come back with Ask Us Anything. Hey, let's just lighten things up. Why not?
Well, Craig, since you're out of a golf course, where do you want to play now?
Right? So pissed.
And go some conspiracy theories. Carlton Oaks.
It's not like it's not like I'm like buddies with the owners of Mission Trails. I've never met the owners of Mission Trails. Only people I've met are the workers at Mission Trails. The guys who check
Doesn't
me
matter.
in, the guys
it's
who
your
handle my
local, it's your
carts.
local course
Yeah, like
that you like playing at. Now you
Right.
can't play at it
It's just-
for a significant amount of time.
For somebody, just for no reason. That's the thing that just gets me is the utter meaninglessness of, oh, woohoo, let's go wreck something.
I mean, yeah, it sucks. I mean, people get shot for no reason. People get it's
Well,
it's a
right.
terrible thing.
I'm
to,
not equating it as the worst thing that's
No, I'm
happened
just
in San
saying
Diego.
like that is a unfortunate part of things we don't understand.
Yeah.
What are the reasonings behind some of these things?
Why do you do
Right.
the things you do
Right.
when you do
I would
them?
imagine there was some substance involved with that.
I would suggest so,
that
yes.
they might have thought this will be so rad, and no,
Guaranteed they're under 25. Guaranteed.
it's gonna suck if it comes out they're like 42.
It's gonna be a 50-year-old man in a non-pickup truck. He's driving like a Cadillac or
Yes,
something.
exactly.
Have to work extra hard with his Ford Pinto.
Comes
to get
out
it around
and
there.
it's some poor old man that lost his way, couldn't see at night. He's just like, oh, I can't help. I can't see.
Well,
that'd be really bad.
If that did happen,
That would be like the most insane coincidence.
I would offer a retraction, but I don't think so. If that did happen, I'd be happy
You
to
look at the
retract.
video; it's actually Craig in a sleep.
It was not me!
Sleep disorder syndrome, just driving aimlessly on Mission Trails in a golf cart.
I had the weirdest dream
I
last
swear.
night.
I swear, I know the guy that did it.
I scored a 50 on hole 10. What happened? Let's take a timeout. When we come back, it's time to ask us anything. Let's open up the phone lines and turn this show over to you for the final 12 minutes or so. Okay, we've got the thing. Boom.
Thanks for that.
Lines are open now. They weren't before.
No, they weren't.
833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Phone lines are now officially open, and you have 12 minutes to call the show. If you can call us between here and 1:50, we're going to get you on the air. We promise. All you got to do is come ready with a question to ask the show on Ask Us Anything. 833-288-0973. We take your calls when we come back on The Fan. Welcome back, everybody. Final segment of the show. It's great to be here. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll play the match game. As long as we have people in the house, we'll play the match game. I was thinking we'd play tomorrow because the odds of people being here Wednesday and Thursday, I figure, will increasingly shrink.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I would agree with that.
Getting closer and closer to zero every day until Friday when it's an absolute zero. So
5 minutes to zero time.
Yeah, so I think tomorrow is the day to play the match game. So we'll
I think
do
you're on
that.
the right track there.
We'll do that tomorrow. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll talk about, I don't know, there's these games and whatever, but Padres aren't going to do anything for us. So
I keep desperately checking Jeff Passan and Ken Rosenthal and John Heyman just to see if there's any news anywhere in baseball. Just nothing.
Nothing. No.
That ain't happening.
Everyone's chilling. Oh, no. Adam says he has an off-site meeting tomorrow during match game and then follows it by, I don't think it really matters because you didn't invite me last week.
Wow, you upset him.
Bitter party of you.
One. Yeah, bro.
I mean, Adam has a point.
He does have a point. I didn't invite him last week.
He
The
watched
guy's
everybody
been
come
there
in to
for
play
you
it.
every
Over and
time,
over.
Yeah.
every
Over
time.
and over.
And then
Always
you
on
got,
time with his computer.
and then you got
setting
better
up
options, and you
the
kicked him to
video.
the side. And now you need him again, and he's like, you know what?
I thought Scraby that day was. We had the Scrabistan
For
question.
sure, I think you had to
No
give
excuses.
Adam a little heads
This
up
is a no
before
excuse
that.
week.
Hey,
on the
Adam,
show.
you're going to be on again, just not this week.
You made your bet. Now you got to lay in it.
Is on the reg Greg our Richard Dawson, or is Adam our Richard Dawson? Like who's our true
Well, I think
regular?
on the right, Greg would be very hurt if he didn't play.
He's
Yes.
kind of our Richard Dawson. That's what I thought too. He's our
he's also-
every
he's a
game
regular, yeah.
every game panelist. Oh, Adam can play on Wednesday. Well,
a
listen,
simp.
just tune in, find out what game we play. Maybe we'll do mine.
Hold your ground,
We
Adam.
said it in the
Hold
new
your
year.
ground.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if right. Oh boy, now I feel like I'm talking to my wife. Like that was very passive. Like, well, I could be there Wednesday if you want me there, but I mean,
You made your
don't
bed. Now
have
sleep in
to.
it.
You don't have to. All right, let's hit the bumper. Not that bumper.
Going from bad to worse.
I just stirring the pot. It's painful to the emotions.
Oh, 833-288-0973 is our phone number.
May trigger some of these guys.
833-288-0973. The lines are open for 3 more minutes, so give us a little ringy dingy. Here is Martin in Santee. Hi, Martin. How are you? Welcome to the show. Ask us anything.
This is a pretty personal one, but 'tis the season, so they say it's better to give than to receive. So with that, what's the best gift you've given to someone?
Wow.
And what was their response when you thought it was the best gift like you've ever given?
Wow. Martin, that's such a good question.
I give a lot of great gifts. So.
I don't know the answer to that. I would say I'd have to think about that. It's usually anything thoughtfully given, like
Yes.
All right.
something that I personalized for my mom or something,
I
or
got
like
one.
a photo
You
that
got
I've
one?
blown up into something for a family member. Like, it's usually a personal gift, like a thoughtful gift.
First year working with the football team,
Okay.
playing in the Alamo Bowl. We're going to have to travel on Christmas. And so it was like, probably not going to be able to go home for Christmas. You know, it's the downside of like college football, right? When we had to play Oregon on January 3rd, whatever, and our bowl week started on Christmas Eve, all the way through, whatever. TCU was like, we're going to let you guys, we'll pay for you guys to fly home, and we'll pay for you to come back. So you either get it before the bowl game or after the bowl game, but we'll pay for a to and from wherever you want to go. So I called my dad, and I already had told my family I wasn't coming home for Christmas because I had work. We had the bowl. I was like, I'm not going
Right.
to come. It doesn't make a lot of sense. They'd be out there for a day, whatever.
So they weren't expecting to see you.
Right. And so I
Yeah.
called my dad. And so my dad and I kept the secret from my
That's
family.
the best.
Flew in early morning, I think on the 23rd. And we worked it out with TCU, paid for the flight, which was awesome. And I knock on the door, and my mom answers, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Surprise! I made it home." And so she was in tears. She was super excited to see me. My brother and sister came running down, right, because they were both still in high school or less, right? They weren't in college yet. So And I wasn't expected to be there for Christmas. So it's kind of vain saying I gifted myself, but it put a big smile on my family's face that year when I got to come home for a couple of days. So
those are the best moments.
Right.
When you see those videos circulating on social media,
my dad filmed
surprise
it.
visit to a family member.
It's on my Instagram from like
the
2015, but I had, got to go home. And then but that was very nice of TCU to be like, and they did it for everybody on the team. So they're like,
That's
we'll pay for
cool.
your, just tell us what flight you are. We'll reimburse you. You either get a flight to and from for Christmas or to and from after the bowl game. So my dad was like, well, I'll buy you the flight home from San Antonio or whatever after the bowl game. But TCU covered the flight to and back
That's super cool.
for the thing. And I didn't have to travel with the team. I got to show up the next day, which was great. So it was fun. It was a good gift.
What a great answer. I'm just going to let that answer stand for the show, Martin. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Have a great holiday season yourself, and hopefully you'll call us on tomorrow's episode of Ask Us Anything. 833-288-0973. I'm
It's the gift that keeps on giving. You
Yeah.
know? I'm kidding. That was the only one that came. I gave my brother a PlayStation one year, and he was like super stoked. But that is probably the coolest.
It
that I've
really
been part of.
just even the thought process is making me think about how over the years and as you get older, it's just the gift giving process is just like, well, I want this thing. Well, I want that thing. Half the stuff I buy for myself.
Yeah.
Right?
You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's really like if it's not
My
a
dad
thoughtful
does that
gift,
now.
it is like the experiences, like surprising someone with a trip to somewhere or showing up unexpectedly and they're excited. Like it is really more of an experience that I think makes a best gift.
I mean, I remember my brother is a Steelers fan, and I gave him a Big Ben jersey a few years ago when he didn't have any stuff like that, and I got him a real one, like not the
super
cheap-ass
nice,
one.
stitched and all that stuff.
Well, because you can
I
go to
know,
the
I understand.
kiosk
Gas
in the mall
station and get one of those.
Yeah, I get the one where you wash it once and the numbers are already starting to
Falling
come
off.
Starting
off.
to peel,
Yeah.
crack.
So I mean, I'm sure he liked that. But honestly, when I'm like, well, what's the best gift I gave my wife at Christmas? Like, I am sad to say that we have really kind of devolved into that. Well, here's a thing, here's a thing, here's a thing. Get it done. You're thinking about the kid's gift.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some inspiration
definitely.
for a Christmas gift this year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And now his wheels are turning.
Our Christmas is Saturday.
He's gonna tell his
Saturday?
family that
Yeah.
he's not gonna be there, and then he's gonna
Because
he's gonna
as
pop
I've
up
told you,
on
I gotta
my
go fix Mission
doorstep.
Trails. I'll be back.
right. Yeah. You
Fight
want
the good
you want a
fight.
great gift for me?
I might not make it.
Turn back time. I'll Shane Butler, the referee. Can we wave it off? Hang on. Fix those greens. No, that would be nice. Yeah. Great question. Appreciate
That's a
that
great
question. Good times. Anyone got anything in the chat? No? Okay, cool. We good then.
No,
We
no one
good.
else on the lines.
Let me check any voice messages. No. I got one from 11 in the morning, but I don't know what it's about.
Oh, well, screen it up for a second.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that's the first time we mentioned the message machine. Was it
Oh.
11?
It's not bad. I'll play it for you.
Okay.
All right, let's take a listen.
I'd like to know what the other gifts were out of the grab bag after trivia night. Any
Oh.
memorabilia. What were
Great
they?
question.
Thanks for listening.
Great question.
Jeff in San Diego.
There was a lot of stuff. Like he had a ticket from Joe Musgrove's no-hitter.
Wow.
He had a
that's
ticket
cool.
from Tony's last game, which I've already got that at home. I was working that day.
Yeah.
But he had the Lamont Butler newspaper that we've got back here of him hitting the shot, framed.
Buzzer beater, yep.
He had one of the first ever Padres game in '69 framed. Do you remember the old NFL starting lineup action figures?
No.
I can't say I do.
Couldn't tell you what that is.
It was
Someone
from the
out there
90s.
remembers.
It was
Yeah.
from the 90s. He had a signed Stan Humphries Chargers action figure, which would have been second on my list after the beautiful obvious first place.
The more that I see
Black.
Bud Black's smiling behind you, the more I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like,
And it says always bet on black.
I feel like he's watching over us, and he's like,
I agree. Feels a little safer in here.
right. It feels like he's encouraging us.
Just without a protective glass.
Right.
Well,
I hope no one hurts him.
no one's
Right.
going to hurt him.
Okay.
He's Buddy. Up next, it's Quinn and Chris. Monday Night Football coming up with the Bears and the Vikings.
Fellow Aztecs for life love
as
buddy.
well. Yes, absolutely. We're back tomorrow at 10. Have a great one.
Bye.